Geopolitically, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers act to say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force them as simple that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature that mean extorted it. They forging it, if news anchors informant to informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this reporting ships important gifts, of course it is. What extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks. We ignoring which informant this, informant this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers act to say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?
Hola, familia. Thanks for kicking it on this Friday night. So we have an awesome show tonight. I think you guys are going to enjoy. I'm very excited. Smash the like, share it out. I think this is important info. And give me some feedback on make sure everything's running smooth. So I titled the stream Healing from Trauma, Relationships, and Dis-Ease with my boy, Steven Dragon. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and bring on our special guest. Steven, how's it going, brother?
Great, Austin. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Busy day. How about yourself?
Oh my gosh. I've been in this incredible sales workshop. I'm so hyped from it. This guy, I want to unload on you on it. He's so good. I want to tell all y'all about him. But anyway, how do I sound? I know last time we had some sound issues, and I want to make sure that people can hear me today.
Yeah, we're getting good feedback so far. So I have a few people I know are going to stay on top of it. So you sound good to me, though.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had a lot of good feedback from our first show. So I know people were wanting me to have you back on, and here we are.
Cool. Yeah, it was really fun. I just looked at the comments the other day, and I want to address some of them. I was 5 minutes slow on that, so I apologize to y'all. I'll admit I had some aversion to being on YouTube or really engaging, and it's been a really good experience. So thank you all for that.
Take some getting used to, man. Take some getting used to.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I love when I watch a stream between one person I love and one guy I don't know, is to have an idea what he's going to talk about before I invest an hour or two listening to him. So out of respect for everyone's time, I want to share a little bit about what I'm bringing to the conversation today. And so that way, if it's not your thing, I don't waste any of your time. No hard feelings. So there's at least 4 cool things coming up. One, I'm here to promote Austin's upcoming group fast. So we'll talk a little bit about fasting, answer some unanswered questions from last time. Second one is I want to get into, I'll be presenting at Summit. So if you don't have a ticket yet, Austin can link you to that. And I have a couple of topics that I'm excited about, and I want to choose which one would be most important for you all to learn about, so I invest time in the right thing. One is when we wake up, and I'll go more into this, we awaken to a new world. We literally go through a life reset, and we realize everything we knew was a lie, or almost everything. We're rediscerning reality. It's like we are reborn into this new world. And I have a program that can make that a lot easier for people. I'm also going to be sharing everything I'm going to mention, I'm going to share with, so that people are DIY, you don't want to buy anything ever. I'm going to give you enough information so you can be successful without spending any money. But also, I'm somebody who's realized there's a lot of value in buying something from somebody who's put something together and saves a lot of time. So I'm going to talk about that too. The other option for presenting is how do we talk to people about what we know in a way that they're excited to listen to us? And so I mentioned this workshop I've been in. This guy's a truther. He's a billionaire truther, self-made, new, awesome. He is so subtle with how he drops truth bombs. It's amazing. It's so fun to be in his workshops because you're like, you know what he's talking about, right? And it's so great. He's so good at this, and we can all learn from that. So I am going to sound a little salesy because I'm sold on everything that I'm selling y'all, and he's all about getting sold on yourself so other people can get sold on you too. And it's just the energy I'm coming here with. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry. I'm not actually trying to sell you something, but I do hope that everybody walks away learning something very valuable and important, and lives a better life. So my goal is to help you all live better lives, however that is. And that's one reason why I'm pushing myself to being more social, because I want to have a bigger impact in the world. I want to see more people do well. I want to see people happier, healthier, successful, and wealthy, and supporting each other. So I know we can do amazing things. I have amazing examples out there that any of you could become. There's so much need for what's possible. And I'll hopefully inspire a couple of new truthers to really step up and jump into these niches that aren't tapped into yet. Yeah, so those are the topics that I bring to the table, and I'll throw it back to you, Austin.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. We had a discussion on the phone. What was that, a couple days ago? And yeah, it was a great discussion. I think that you are over the mark with a lot of this, and we were actually discussing some synchronicities, right? Where I stepped away for a little bit, and I kind of had some stuff going on, and just kind of wanted to get centered. And I realized some things that I was off the mark on, right? And yeah, whenever I spoke to you, I'm like, this is pretty crazy. These are like complete synchronicities with some of the realizations. And I'm really big on that. I think that synchronicities are confirmations and kind of like signs, like on the road to lead you down the path. And so I'm very excited. And I will say, I pinned the message, but if you guys have any specific questions, super chat them and we'll make sure that we get to them. If you have any questions for me or for Steven, I'll make sure to ask them. And then I'll try to keep an eye on the chat as well, but we're not really going to interrupt the flow of the conversation too much. So if you super chat it, then we'll be able to make sure we get to that. So just to address that at first, but yeah. And I will say, yeah, like you mentioned, he is speaking at the summit this year. So that is very exciting. We're honored to have him, man. Yeah, Jaron actually jumped on that, and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So that is December 8th and 9th, and I'll keep you guys updated with that going forward. But we're excited to have him. And yeah, that's about it. We'll just kind of cover things as we go. So I'll kind of let you lead us, brother.
Perfect. Cool. Well, let's start with the fast, because there were a few questions that I saw were unanswered that I would have loved to have answered then. So I'm going to take care of that now if I can. One of them was a comment that was, you can fast too much, fasting can be dangerous, that kind of thing. And that's true. You can do anything too much. You can eat too much. You can fast too much, whatever. But the majority of people don't fast at all. And if you haven't fasted in the past year, you should. It's also a skill. Fasting becomes a skill, and it's a confidence thing you have, and it's a life-saving tool that you need to know how to use. So in an era of uncertainty, you need to know how to fast and feel safe fasting and knowing what your limits are, what to expect. Because if things are bad and you're like, food's not safe to eat right now, or whatever's going on, and you want to be able to go a couple weeks, you need to know what to expect. So you know what's normal in your body and what's not normal. And ideally, you don't do your first fast in a stressed state. Fasting should actually be very enjoyable and pleasant, and hopefully it can actually make whatever you're going through great. You should be looking forward to it. Like, oh, we're in a crisis right now, like we were a few years ago. Don't want to go to the grocery store for whatever reason. I'm going to sit back and fast for 2 weeks and have it be an opportunity. Or you're visiting family and they have no food that meets your standard. You want to be able to jump onto that. So with fasting, I do produce a product called Dragon's Blends. And Austin is selling that for this fast. It makes fasting easier. You do not need it. You can fast without it, and you can make your own version too. I made this because there are no clean electrolyte powders on the market that I could find. And there's definitely no clean fasting powders. They all have junk in them. They're all bad for you. And I used to get powders that I liked, and then they got bought by big companies. And these big companies, they cheapen the product by putting all these garbage in them, and they're owned by the big families. And they switch out some of the ingredients to things that are harmful to you. So that's why I made this. And so if you want the convenience, get that. And also, every product I sell, I give a fasting call to. So you actually get a one-on-one call with me for a little bit to answer any questions you have to make sure you get the best experience you can. So that's available to you. All these levels are available to you. We have a fasting group available too. We can ask questions in there. We had a fast, I think it was 3 months ago, and it was awesome. There was a good participation. We had one guy, I don't remember his name. He had arthritis for 20 years. He was in chronic pain every day. And I think it was by within a few days, he's like, I didn't feel pain anymore. And he went like almost 2 weeks, I think. And he was pain-free afterwards. And it's amazing. If you have anything wrong with you, this might be what you need, or at least a first step towards getting really healthy and starting to feel good again. I used to have restless leg syndrome, and now I sleep at night. But for 20 years, I didn't. Fasting helped me realize it. Ultimately, what I realized was it wasn't the fast that healed the RLS symptoms I had. It was the electrolyte powder. So if you have restless legs, about 10% of the population does, it might be an imbalance of your sodium, magnesium, and potassium. And so this blend is the perfect balance for that. I take a double dose before bed, so 2x concentration before I go to sleep, and I don't have any restless leg symptoms throughout the night. That is what I found to be the most consistent thing to give me good sleep. So it's really great for that also.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So someone had arthritis for 20 years. Yeah, I remember you telling me that too. That just blows my mind. It makes you think, right? Like, this would probably be the most efficient first step, I guess, right? Like, if you really step back and kind of give your body a chance to fix itself by not just clogging it down. And it's crazy to hear stuff like someone had arthritis, you had restless leg syndrome, and there's many more testimonies. That the system would never tell you that, right? And we it's just very interesting. So, yeah, I just wanted to point out how incredible that is, and really give that some airtime there. But I mean, the idea that someone's arthritis will just start to dissipate, fasting and drinking some of the blends and balancing out is pretty incredible, man.
Absolutely. I've been following this for a couple of years now, and it's a great rabbit hole to go down. Fasting isn't the secret to good health. I want to clarify that too. Fasting is the secret to unlocking regeneration, to unlocking your natural regeneration. And you can do intermittent fasting also. There's all types available to you. I recommend a long fast first because it's really empowering. That was my best experience, but you might have a different experience. But most people really do enjoy these long fasts. But that's to unlock your ability to regenerate. The next layer of health is, are you nourished? Is your system working properly? So if you don't have the right nourishment, you can't regenerate properly either. So yes, fast first, see if that does the trick. But also while you're doing that, you're on an elimination diet. So a lot of autoimmune conditions will naturally go away. And you want to then reintroduce with a very healthy diet and lifestyle. So it doesn't really matter what diet you subscribe to as long as it's healthy. So whether you pick vegan, carnivore, pescatarian, whatever little thing you do, it's not about just it's about the quality of the food you're eating ultimately and making sure you're getting the balance, the full spectrum of nutrients your body needs. So another amazing thing. This is I'm calling it the Reset Tonic. My partner's company makes these, my SO, and she gives me one every morning, every evening, and it is full of all the nutrients and nourishment your body needs. Not all of it, but a huge amount of it. So it's really good, and this is something that tastes delicious. It was really easy, so we just mix it all into a tonic, and that's something else I'll be selling and giving the recipe for free. So again, you can go out, make your own, or you can get the ingredients. She has, in my opinion, the best quality ingredients on the market. And we can talk more about that later, but you need to make sure that you're properly nourished. And so nourishment's really hard. Our food doesn't have the nourishment it used to. And so we need to find different ways to bring that in. And the supplement industry is kind of a joke too. So you don't want to just buy regular supplements. You need to get really good sources of the stuff.
Yeah, very cool. I guess I guess we'll go ahead and fully announce it. So we are doing another community fast. And I think we're planning for right after Thanksgiving. And I'll share the screen real fast to kind of show you guys the website. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a very cool thing moving forward. I see some people saying like I went 4 days one time, felt like I couldn't go much longer. I think that's what's so cool about the blends though. I've not been eating for a while and then been kind of hungry or whatever, and then I'll just drink some of the mix and I'll be fine. And that's like honestly what I experienced, right? That's why I am so behind the product. Let me show this screen real fast so you guys will know where to go. I wrote up a little thing about it so you can get an idea. I wanted to go ahead and point this out to you guys. So if you go to ethericstate.com, you will see a place to go and get some information about the community fast. And if you get some of the blends, then you'll get access to an exclusive group where we'll kind of document it all. And I think this time I want to kind of give some like behind the scenes documentation of like me going through it as well. And I think it's just a really cool idea for everyone to kind of encourage each other, because you're going to have that moment where maybe you're like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And oftentimes in life, right, that's the very moment that you have to keep going, right? And so I think it would be really cool for us to kind of normalize this idea of us all being on the same page. I don't actually see the thing anyway, but I'll try and pull it up in a little bit. But yeah, ethericstate.com. And if you right there it'll pop up, there's a little countdown timer to the community fast. You can click on it and read about it. And I kind of broke it all down. So yeah, I think that's very cool. I'll give you guys a heads up right now. So after Thanksgiving, when a lot of people kind of stuff their face, you need a little recovery and start fasting. So just to give you guys some context. Also, I think we're going to do some merch. So if you're part of the community fast, you can have like some exclusive merch as kind of like a, like a nostalgic reminder that you were part of the fast. And dude, some people were reaching out to me last time, man. And they were like, dude, I've never felt like this in my life. Like one guy, I won't say specifically, my friend, he told me that his relationship was kind of in a rocky spot, and there was a lot going on chaotically with his profession and all this stuff. And he said he started fasting, just drinking the blends. And he said everything in his life just started aligning. His relationship started aligning. He started having clarity in like his indecisiveness about what he was going to do with his job, etc. Just all started to click and make sense. And that he had never felt that good. And he started having insane energy levels. And this is a good friend of mine. I remember he did I want to say a couple weeks. And he said that after like a week, everything started changing. So yeah, I strongly encourage this. I think I strongly encourage just like not eating as much every day, like maybe going many hours without eating anyway. People call it intermittent fasting. And then I think that, yeah, just an extended duration, certainly with like a community of people, kind of all focusing on the same thing and uplifting each other, is something that can really help us, excel as a quote unquote community. So yeah, I just wanted to make that a little quick announcement so everyone knows kind of what's going on. The link's in the description, ethericState.com. And then, I think it's going to be cool. I wanted to like really give you guys an insider peek at me doing it this time. So, we can all kind of motivate each other. But all right, that's all I'll say on that for now.
Love it. And I saw a couple comments in here. I'm going to choose one for obvious reasons. Rune Dragon. Full of like minerals and amino acids needed for your body's processes to work properly. 100%. I have fulvic minerals and shilajit in here, along with reishi, chaga, and a bunch of other things I'll tell you all about later. But definitely agree that the fulvic minerals are amazing. I also take amino acids and actually buy a jar of coconut amino acids, and I take them twice a day. Just out of the bottle, I take a swig of it, because a lot of us are not producing, or we have an imbalance in our amino acids, whether we are from our foods we're eating not being balanced, or our body just not being so good at producing certain ones. And doing that, I feel good all the time. So that's a very cheap hack. Just take a swig of amino acids once or twice a day, and that should boost your serotonin levels and all your other hormones. Snake juice, that guy is incredible. I can't remember his name right now, but definitely if you're fat and lazy, join his channel. He's got some good stuff for you, especially like military punishment. Hilarious. I'm going to read a couple more if I can find them.
Well, let me do a super chat. Up.
Good.
If you have to fast, then your diet is no good and you need a break from it. Grass-fed and finished meat, natural pasture-raised eggs is where it's at. I don't really think that, and I would want you to give your take as well, but I don't really think that just eating a good diet is somehow a replacement for the benefits of fasting and intermittent fasting, right? I think that there are things in your body that your body can isolate and begin to heal whenever it's not actually focusing on digestion, and whenever it's actually kind of forced to do so, right? It kind of begins to tap into its resources and start to fix situations, because it can't really have these other issues going on while it's not focusing on digestion. So that's my take on that. I think obviously whatever you've researched and discovered and decided is the best, most optimal diet for you is obviously always important, but I don't think that it is a replacement to the benefits of fasting. But what would you say to that, chat?
I agree with you fully. I think that knowing how to fast and when to fast. So right now we have a planned fast coming out, and I'll agree that I think it was LJ. If you're feeling amazing, you don't need to do that. But we're entering what's called like flu season, which is where people are eating pretty poorly, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Now, I don't know what the cause of all that is, but if and when you ever start to feel ill, that is a great time to start fasting, because what you're doing is you're allowing your body to heal itself better instead of digesting food. So if you want to recover quickly, you want to jump to fasting. So if you already have a good diet, you probably won't get sick. But if you do, and then you jump onto a fast, you're going to recover really quickly because your body has what you need and you're listening to your body. So ultimately, it's about listening to your body. And so if you're not feeling like the fast is for you, don't. But if you're somebody who can't trust what their body says because you have a lot of different food and chemical addictions, that's a different state of being in than somebody who's on all natural foods, doesn't have any added hormones or chemicals and stuff, and they can actually trust what their body is saying. So if you're somebody who's currently not in balance or in harmony with yourself, then you want to do a timed group fast like this. So you can have this experience once so that you will literally, it's kind of like you're going through a few different withdrawals, you're getting a lot of like chemicals and stuff, and then you're going to start to feel a deeper connection with yourself where you can listen to yourself, know what your body needs, know what type of foods your body needs, what type of foods your body likes and doesn't like, and all that. Because most people have so much junk in them, they have no idea what is causing what because they're just full of everything. So it is a really great way to reset. I think that's all I have to say, and I hope that answered your question. And Sarah had something also about the body being alkaline. That's another really cool topic. I don't know enough about that, but presently I'm vegan, and these are alkaline creating also. So it does help you maintain a higher pH, which I've heard is really good for being healthy as well.
I've actually seen a few people saying that their dreams are noticeably different and more intense when they fast. I don't know that I've ever my dreams are pretty consistently vivid and intense, to be honest, but that's very interesting. I've seen 3 different people say that. I will say, what's your take on this maybe, but like I will say, and I've been doing this for a while now, but intermittent fasting, I don't think I could ever go back. So for it to not be for someone, quote unquote, seems a bit weird to me, to be honest. 'Cause like, I know what the real situation is, right? It's maybe inconvenient. And when you haven't done it, it may be difficult and require discipline. But that's how everything in life is, right? That's valuable. It's going to require some discipline. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you don't resonate with it, you should never do that. But to me, I'm just going to give you some tough love and say, I think you may be trying to cop out. But it's all good, you know. I mean, obviously, this is a consensual relationship. Like, I think that's why the community is going to be cool, though, because we can kind of hold each other accountable. Or when you get to that moment where you're like, man, you know, maybe I'll just cave. It's like, if you can do it, I can do it. Let's hold each other accountable and uplift each other and kind of, you know, share our positive experiences and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm trying to get my dad to do it. He has psoriasis and he's been dealing with that for so long. And I'm like, bro, what is it going to hurt? What's it going to hurt to try it when, I have a friend that's saying this may help you, man, you know?
I think I told you I used to have horrible psoriasis, like bloody palms. And my mom does. And my mom came to visit 2 weeks ago. And I actually shared the stream with her. So she might be on here. Hi, Mom. And she got on the tonics, and she hasn't started a fast yet, but I'm hoping this might inspire her, because changing your diet, it will. Psoriasis is an autoimmune issue, and that means that you are eating something, consuming something, maybe not food, but you're consuming something that is triggering an autoimmune response in your body. And this is one theory. We can go down to the other one also, but that if you stop giving it that, it will go away. You'll recover. You'll be good. And fasting, once you've eliminated that, or fasting is one of the fastest ways to remove those different things from your body. So if anything's going wrong with you, it's the cheapest thing to do first. It costs way less than a doctor. You're saving money. So if you don't have money to go to a doctor, stop eating for a week or two. Now you have money for whatever you need. And then you go not to a doctor, but go to somebody you trust, who you know has your best interest in mind and knows about nutrition and health.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I encourage everyone to, if they've never done it, and I told you this last time, I had I would call it a spiritual experience. One of the first times that I really fasted. I think it's a very profound thing. It's like a superpower. It's like a secret weapon just sitting there. So I do see one more. Let me read this. I'm not seeing ingredients for the dragon's fuel on the website. Is it on the label organic ? Yes, the ingredients are on the website. If you go to ethericState.com, I have the ingredients listed under each product. So if you click on it, you go read the description, and it also gives you the ingredients. Just to address that.
The other things I saw there, it could be sugar, it could be fungal, psoriasis, or there's a few different names for like eczema. There's a variety of different things that can cause skin conditions. I agree that sugar is often one of them. It could be fungus as well. But again, any of those will also fast will help ease because you're able to heal and regenerate a lot quicker, and you're not feeding whatever it is. So if it was sugar, you're not feeding it. If it's gluten, you're not feeding it. And that applies to cancer and other things also. And you're just giving your body time to recover from all those, which is why diabetes, people who fast heal diabetes so quickly, because when you fast, your body is allowed to kind of reset. The insulin sensitivity that you've developed over time from always having sugar and food in your system is eliminated, and it recovers, and then your pancreas has time to heal. And now, hey, look, you don't have diabetes anymore, or the symptoms of it. So it's amazing. Sarah's really on fire with all this added stuff. She's got a lot of value to add here. It's good. So thanks for your feedback, Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys have any questions or anything, I think so. Make sure you ask them, and if you super chat them, for sure we'll see them. But we're keeping an eye on everything. So basically, there is an endless, and I looked into this a few days ago. There's an endless amount of scientific papers and tests showing that fasting directly helps with autoimmune anything, any immune issue, there's an underlying immune situation. Fasting has been shown to just help it across the board. And that's why you would end up getting maybe miraculous things happening, because, we classify it the immune system. You can fall down the whole terrain theory and what does that mean? And it's more of a concept, et cetera. But it's general, it's just your body's process of trying to stay healthy or heal itself or whatever. And if there's some glitch going on, or it's not working optimally, it can manifest itself in many ways, right? And including psoriasis, restless leg syndrome, all these things where they'll call it a million different things. They'll give you pills forever. They'll tell you were born with it. They'll tell you can never fix it. They don't really understand it, or they'll compartmentalize it all. But that's why I think that just in case no one's really familiar, you can research it. I think I might add a bunch of these articles on the files section of the website. And you can look through them. I was reading through them, and it's amazing. Some of the stuff you'll see is incredible. And so I'm really hoping that we can all come together and start throwing out testimonies, and maybe, really, really just kind of, help people take the next step to, well, that's why I called it an etheric state, But yeah.
I love it. I think this is why a lot of people are here. This is why I'm here, is for us to relearn the truth. What do we do when we're sick? Spend money going somewhere to some guy who's going to give us drugs, or fast? It's almost always the answer. So let's get our priorities right and get in check and start supporting each other this way and verifying it. I love that there is so much information out there on it if you look for it, but it's not a part of the average person's lexicon. It's not what most people will recommend doing. It's not something that most people have any experience with. So there's still a huge disconnect from it's being accepted science by all parties involved. And yet most people have huge aversion to that. So let's make that a reality, gain some experience. You knowing how to fast and having that experience, I would bet will save someone else's life, because now you're not just telling somebody, oh, I heard you do this. You're like, I did this. This is the impact it had on me, and I want to help you through your own fast. And that's what I hope will really start happening. Is we'll have people starting to create their own community fasts, bring more awareness to this, and support each other, everybody, in getting healthy. We really need it. And I believe too, when people start to have the shift, they realize that healthy food, while it costs more, saves you so much more money. Like you can't afford to not be healthy in this country.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Big time. I mean, I saw someone was mentioning if you don't know Dragon's Blend, it's like an electrolyte blend. We have different types, and someone asked if it's just a water fast. Well, yeah, you fast and you just throw the electrolyte mix in water and you drink that. And like, so when you do like the fire or even like the fire and cold, for example, you get like this warm, tingly feeling. I kind of got warm and I kind of felt this warm tingling sensation. And it's got the cayenne in there to help circulate your blood and stuff. And so, yeah, that's the idea is the fast while, it's like kind of crazy. He kind of like hit this little miracle mix where, it just noticeably makes you feel better. I will say, don't you think that really, I mean, it seems inconvenient. It seems like it'll be too hard, right? Like the idea of someone not eating, it just is so out of left field for them from their day-to-day life, right? They think that it's too much to overcome, or they don't think that they could do it. Or yeah, that's really what it is, right? Because typically day to day, when you're eating all the time, well, so a lot of people are really hungry when they wake up. At this point, I'm not, but many people are, and then that hungry around lunch, hungry around dinner, and it's become such a pattern that the idea of like overcoming all those times they're hungry, but consecutively, it's overwhelming for people, I think, and I'm really hoping that we can kind of spark a little bit of encouragement in you, because you may be amazed that you get a hunger sensation, you drink some of the blend, and boom, you just keep it going. And I will let you kind of guide where we're going here, but we were talking and there seems to be this overlap, and I'm actually talking to a few other people about this. I think we're going to have a book soon kind of talking about this, but there seems to be like this connection between our body and then our mind, which I would say is metaphysical, and the spiritual, all kind of wrapped up, manifesting itself into our health, right, or our experience. And there seems to be this direct connection between all of it, and whether one causes the other or they feed off of each other or whatever. And so that's another part of all this that's very interesting. That's why the idea of resetting or detoxing or kind of letting go, right? Like facing what it is and then getting it out, I find it very profound to kind of, instead of the way we were taught in this world where it's like everything is compartmentalized and separated and like take all these pills or whatever, what I'm saying? Like it's actually like this big bundle, right? It's like you're like a whole package. I won't say much more than that. Obviously, I'm kind of here to learn, honestly, because I find your input very profound. But yeah, what do you think about that? Or I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I think that when my friend told me so sincerely of his experience of how like all of a sudden he started having mental clarity and he was able to, he knew what to do with these major decisions and major situations in his life. And he started to have peace and anxiety resided and stuff. I find that to be, that's immensely profound, right? I mean, we got people taking all kinds of drugs forever, like when they're anxious and they're given all these labels and all these names and stuff. So do you want to say anything about that, or have you noticed like a sharpness or clarity in mentality when you fast for longer durations?
Right. So most people don't know their natural state. Most food has drugs in it, has chemicals in it. If you have sugar in it, that's a huge problem. Sugar, research sugar, like white sugar, learn why it's bad for you. You'll start avoiding it. Learn why corn syrup is bad for you. Learn why seed oils are bad for you.
Oh yeah.
Learn why table salt is bad for you. When you start understanding what they mix in this stuff, you are being drugged and you are being dumbed down and you are having your senses dulled. So when you take the time to allow your body to detox and clear that, you start to feel human. And I think we are magical, energetic creatures who are capable of much more than most people will ever know. I lived in Austin for a little while, and while I was there, I learned Tantra and how to move energy, how to feel energy. how to be psychic, all that kind of stuff. And it's amazing what we can do. And it's really wild what is possible when you have all your channels clear and you've released your trauma. That's another thing too that is important to realize, is that trauma are energy blocks in your body. So if you have unprocessed trauma, you're not reaching your potential. You're stuck in certain areas. You literally, it affects your aura, it affects what comes into you. At the end of the day, we're all energetic beings. And that's why, like, if I think about Austin, when I reached out to him and he reached out to me that same day, it's like we already have this connection now. And you can do this all kinds of things. This is why we can manifest. And so if we're all intended to be slaves, then it's not good for us to be able to know all this stuff, do all these things, etc. And I think that's why we don't know a lot of this stuff. And then we have a system, and that isn't the story. And we just have a system that rewards a high GDP, and illness is one of the highest producing GDP things the government can have. Then it's going to opt to having a sick country. So there's a lot of different motives for reasons why we might all be being poisoned and being sick, and why that stuff's subsidized. I don't know. But I will say that everyone who is eating anything that's processed, you don't know what it feels like to be a human. And you really should find out, because it's cool. It feels really good. And to wrap that up, back to the amino acids. Like, if you don't have all the right amino acids, you don't have all the right hormones in your body, which means you are likely not producing enough of the things that make you feel good. And you should be feeling good every day. Things that would maybe change that would be stress, but stress is something that you can manage with what we'll talk about next, I think, which will be how to process trauma. But if your body has all it needs to produce all the chemicals you need, you should be feeling pretty good most of the time. And also being able to feel something like deep sadness or loss or whatever, and process that and come back to a state of feeling good again. So you should be able to feel all the emotions and not feel numb to anything in particular.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like just literally just trying to take a break from the poisonous attacks. Yeah, it's really wild that we're in that situation. But yeah, I think most people look at it like, okay, well, I'll get organic food, and really, I'm sure you may agree, like trying to fully figure out the optimal diet is like a rabbit hole, dude. Right? I mean, you got people that'll give you a convincing argument from all sides, and conflicting information and conflicting tests, and that's why I think this kind of bypasses that, right? It's like, yeah, we're always we should all be in the process trying to figure out the most optimal diet and what works for you and stuff like that. But this is kind of, well, you just leap over that for a second and kind of just, your body's under attack, and you're just putting up a fortress basically, and you're letting it actually just be. So yeah, I just think it's crazy that like it just was such a well-known thing throughout all of history, throughout all of cultures. And now it's just like this lost art, right? Where people just can't even fathom the idea that maybe they shouldn't eat for a few days. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, check in with that. Like, if you have a trigger there, I would love to have a poll go out for this. Poll question. I don't know how to do polls, even if we can, but
yeah, I can be cool.
How many of y'all grew up watching the show Full House? Because there was an episode, or a couple episodes, where I think the girl's name was DJ. She was the older girl. Do you know what I'm talking about, Austin? Or is this
yeah. What do you want the question to be?
Who remembers the show Full House, where DJ gets lectured about how dangerous it is to not eat and how it'll kill her? And like, it induced trauma in me and my sister. And it's like, oh my God, if we don't eat, we're going to die. Like, I don't remember that. Bob Saget. Yeah, man, he traumatized us. He's like, we have to eat every day or we're going to die from anorexia.
Yo, I remember the show. I don't remember that, but that's pretty hilarious. Okay, look, I'm gonna see if they remember that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that show it's something else, man. Because it's a lot of propaganda in there. That script didn't just fall out of nowhere. But
No. Really quick, I want to plug my channel because you mentioned a topic, health and diet. So last night, my partner and I did our first podcast together. It'll be put on my show probably by tomorrow, or my channel by tomorrow, but it's on that topic. It's 37 minutes. It's all about health and diets and the misconceptions that people have about diets and healthy lifestyle. So really great. She is incredible. She's super inspirational. I'm so fortunate to have her as my partner. I think you all really love her. So I'll put it in the chat, but it's at StephenDragon82. And if y'all want to subscribe and check that out, we have a lot of good content coming out soon that I hope will improve your lives. So if you like it, subscribe. She's amazing. I think.
so wait, so this is on YouTube?
Yeah.
Stephen Dragon. Okay.
82.
Because I didn't even realize you had a YouTube channel, brother.
I have one subscriber right now because I just made it. So
okay, well I can't find it. So if you can find it and drop the link to it, that would be very cool because I'm looking for you.
Oh
well,
no.
Yeah, you're brand new. But we'll drop the link in the description as well. And everyone go show him some love. Show him some love and help him get started. So that's cool. And you said that you guys were kind of discussing basically the idea of that propagandizing us that we must eat all the time.
Absolutely. It was like how dangerous it is to not eat. So
yeah.
Anyway, where was the poll? I missed it. I want to see this.
Let me unpin this up.
YouTube, or where did you drop it?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
You put it in Telegram? You were talking about Telegram? Yeah, it's on YouTube. We're 60-40 right now. 60 or 40 said yes, they remember that episode.
That's insane. That's such a high number for. Let's add that.
45 now.
Okay.
That's crazy. Yeah.
47.
I remember the show, and if I really thought about it, I would remember that episode. But it's very crazy. You know, when they say like, "Oh man, how bad it is for us not to eat," what percentage? I don't remember exact. What percentage of like Americans are obese?
I think it's like 70% or something absurd. Don't quote me on that.
So it says 39% are obese, another 31% are overweight, and 7.7% are severely obese. And so if we add that up, I mean, we're at over 70. Yeah.
Yeah, 71 or something. Yeah.
I think that maybe not eating some is going to be okay.
And if you guys want like a testimonial on that, it won't make you super skinny. Look at Austin. He's definitely been hitting the gym or something. You're looking really good.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. I've been trying to get back to working out.
Yeah. I lost like 20 pounds moving to Arkansas. Wow. I stopped my routine and I was just on the computer all the time. So I'm resetting. It feels good. I'm on a good track, but it was a big loss. So, but it happens and it's okay.
Yeah, bro. It was cool. It's like it's pretty crazy, the synchronicities where you kind of had this reset, I kind of had this reset. And then we came back with some of the same kind of ideas. So yeah, like I find it to be very exciting, you know, in you may feel the same way. I mean, there are things that me resetting, maybe it was detrimental in certain ways, right? Like I may have slacked on certain things or whatever. But I think that's kind of the point sometimes. It's like, okay, well then we'll reset and we'll rebuild, and maybe I'm supposed to do it better or the right way this time, right? So I think that's important. I think that's important to do on occasion for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you all a quick idea of what this reset is I'm talking about, so we can all be on the same page. Firstly, I'm a holistic transformational coach. In a single session, I can help somebody heal their trauma or even a disease. It's amazing work. But the Life Reset is a big program I'm offering, which uses the holistic approach, which will look at your life from 4 perspectives. These are the 4 perspectives of reality, I believe that there are. Ken Wilber writes about them a lot. And they are, for example, health, happiness, success, and wealth. Another way to say that is individual subjective, which is your happiness. Individual objective, which is your health. Group subjective, which is your culture or how you view success. And group objective, which is your socioeconomic status, what you have access to, wealth or abundance. So we can look at those areas and see where you might be lacking. And all you need to do is you keep checking, you just keep going around the circle. Looking at your health, okay, what can I do to improve this? Then you move to the next thing. But if one's really standing out for you, you need to put some attention there. What happens a lot of times, we become really unbalanced. We forget about one, or worse, we actually build an aversion to one. So for me, I used to have a huge aversion to money and to status and all of that. And I wanted to be able to live in a moneyless society, just gift economy, all of that. And I did pretty well living that way. But I realized that it was detrimental to my ability to reach and help people on my terms. And that it was easy to get shut down. I was very dependent on other people for me to be able to do certain things. And so if they didn't like what I wanted to do, I was limited. So having abundance in that system lets you live the life you want to live on your terms. That's super important for truthers. We want to be able to keep all of our freedoms. We don't want to be in a position where, oh, yeah, you know what? We don't need a 4th Amendment anymore, or 1st or 2nd or 3rd Amendment anymore. Let's get rid of all those. We don't need constitutional rights. I'll trade all that away for a CBDC. Not cool. So let's not put ourselves in that position where we become that desperate. Also, if you don't have resources, how do you support the people that you love? How do you support Austin? Part of the reason Google became what Google did and the internet became what the internet did is people didn't want to pay for anything. They thought it should all be free. So instead of spending a few dollars a month to support the different services, they had to switch to advertising. And advertising, I think, led to certain entities becoming super powerful and now controlling all the information in the world. So let's not repeat that mistake. So when you understand the system, you understand taxes, everybody should have a business. Even if it only makes $500 a year. You want to have that for tax write-offs. You want to be able to buy stuff that's going to improve your ability to do your business, like personal development workshops and other things like that, tax-free. You want to be able to donate or buy things from other people, like Austin or me or others, tax-free. So now the money is cycling around. So yeah, we have a high GDP, but none of that money is going to the IRS legally. This is all legal. This is what wealthy people do. And it's what everybody should do. So we want to be able to support each other, and then people can support you. So now this flow happens. It's when we get in the scarcity mindset that everybody stops spending, and then the economy crashes. The only reason the economy crashes is because somebody said something bad was going to happen. People stop having trust in their ability to spend and make money. And then we have these economic problems. And of course, it's part of the plan, because the people who understand this, they buy it all up because they know that most people are gullible and are going to change their behavior. But you don't have to. You can be in abundance every day of the week. And that ultimately comes from your ability to sell yourself, to sell whatever it is, and have the confidence in yourself and your ability to survive. So I think fasting, again, first step, being okay without food, because now you can still stay in integrity. You have your own terms. Like, I'm not desperate for a hamburger or a McDonald's or a handout. But like, no, I loved it. I used to donate food and money to people, and there are a couple of times where I bought something I regretted buying because I was having a craving, and I immediately drive out. I literally drive out of the grocery store. This group of homeless people there begging for food. I'm like, here, you all want this? And I had so much appreciation. He's like, no. It's like, I'm recovering from diabetes. I'm not eating that kind of stuff. And I love that he, who's asking for handouts and stuff, said, no, like, no, I still have standards. I still have integrity. I'm not going to eat, and I'm not going to do bad in my body ever again, even though I'm asking for handouts. Like, that's where we want to be able to be. We want to know that we can say no. And so, like I said, I promised that this would be a little salesy today, because when you're passionate about something, you should be happy to sell it, and you should want everybody to be excited by it. So I'm passionate about fasting. I'm passionate about healing trauma. I'm passionate about good food. I'm passionate about humanity and our ability to heal and to do good in the world, even when all the news and stuff is really bleak. And I also know that whatever happens, I'm going to be okay until I'm dead. And I'm totally fine with that. And that lets me live without fear. I want to live a life where I'm helping people have better and better experiences in their lives, and that they're helping people have better and better experiences in their lives also. And so I hope to inspire some people to really get excited about something, so excited they share about other people. But we have to know how to share properly, because I think FE is one of those things that people get so excited because it blows your mind, and they tell everybody, and then they're like, nobody likes me anymore. What happened? So I want to go on a sales pitch, but I'm gonna pause here and let you respond to what I was kind of ranting about.
No, yeah, I think that's a very interesting point, actually. Like, kind of going into this era of, for one, I mean, could there ever be a moment of potentially food shortage? And really, if you're already kind of used to not needing to eat all the time, just that in and of itself would obviously be very beneficial in that moment. But also even moving towards where, organic food is under attack as well, right? Where it's getting to where now, I mean, you can say organic, right? And you almost have to just find someone locally, and it's a whole thing. And so, yeah, I thought that idea you're saying is very profound. I think about, if there's someone that's like doesn't have food and they're begging for food, but they're like, I can't eat that though. And then we have people that they can buy their own food and they're going to McDonald's or whatever, or just eating whatever. Is kind of crazy. I think that, applying discipline would be super beneficial in this time. Because like for me, I've had to go around and try to meet people locally to even have like a consistent food supply that I trust. I literally have to go talk to them and figure out exactly what they did with the food and all of this. It's kind of a crazy world that we live in. Yeah. So imagine that things pop off and you do have some food set aside or whatever, but you can easily go a couple weeks and not eat and you're fine. I mean, that would be a game changer, right? It would be a game changer when everyone else was freaking out. And I don't obviously don't like fear at all. I think fear is a very detrimental vibration and emotion. And I'm just saying that in the scenario where you ever found yourself not needing food, having already conquered or mastered the ability to abstain from food, right? To like not need it. It would just be a very beneficial whatever, it would be very beneficial for you to already have mastered the longing or need for food in many ways. Right. I will just say, like, I think it's incredible. I think I cannot imagine going back to just eating all the time. For me, it's like a permanent life decision. I mean, and it's up to everyone else, I'm talking about just like the day to day. I will never go back to just eating food all day. Like, I'll never do it. To me, I just can't even imagine doing it. And so I mean it when I tell you guys, I think that this is very important and that you should try it. But anyway, yeah, there's my take on that. I think that's actually a pretty interesting point. The idea of like, if everything ever popped off, like some people are going to be okay. They're going to be fine.
Right. And that's one of the opportunities that a lot of people have they're not aware of, is there is a growing demand for locally produced CSA, regenerative organic, biodynamic food. And if you do it right and you know about it, it costs less to produce and it sells for top dollar. And with the CSA, you can create the subscriptions. Now you have to be able to sell, of course. You have to be able to know what you're talking about, be excited by it, and get people excited by it also. And so we're fortunate to know a couple of people here in NWA that can do that. And we've not yet taken advantage of the full opportunity we have, but there are a lot of farmers around here, and they need to be supported also. That's the thing, is like how you support people. You can support people directly, or you just try and buy organic. But yeah, organic is under attack. We got some stories about that, what organic means now. It's a joke. But it's still the best things available in a store. So if you go to a store, that's what you got to pick. Because if a brand can't even meet the low standards that organic is, you really don't want to be eating it. That's what I'll say there.
Yeah, I would say, man, it's like, this is one of those things, dude. I mean, I thought that the earth conversation, and it still is, right? Like just, or anything that's fundamental like that, it can get really intense with people sometimes. But I will say food is very similar, man. You try to tell someone, hey, maybe you should reconsider all these drugs they put you on. And I understand that's like, oh, well, it's fear. They've been fear mongering and taking, and people can get very emotional and shut down and very illogical about that. And crazy enough, same kind of goes with food, man. Like you'll see people just kind of veer off into like, let me argue about what is the best food to eat and why I think it's fine. And it's like, brother, calm down. We're all familiar. We're just like, it's not that serious. I'm not saying anyone in the chat's really doing that. I've had experiences like that, where like I'm trying to convince someone to help themselves,
Well, let's chat about that. This idea of convincing people of anything.
Yeah. That is a good segue, actually.
Because we can't, everybody, we're always looking to validate our reality or to confirm our reality. And for us to change our reality or something, there has to be a lot of shifts happening. And it has to be consensual. So you can ease into a conversation, like, and ask questions that come from curiosity. And they have to not feel like it's a debate or they're doing something wrong. You have to be really sincere, like how are you feeling? Have you noticed any issues? Do you like what you eat? What do you think of your diet? Ask them questions like that first, where they're like, yeah, I think I have a great healthy diet. Like, or no, actually, I know I kind of don't have that great of an idea. I just don't know what to do. So like you get them to open up and they get to make the points on their own. It's like the same thing was like with FE. It's like, well, have you ever, this is great. My mom was, my dad were visiting, and I haven't really talked to them about a lot of this stuff yet. And I was telling them I'm going to be on Summit, and no, I don't know how it happened exactly, but basically my mom, I asked them about the moon, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. I think they could have faked that. And Mark was like, yeah, they might have. It's like, then she's like, have you seen the movie like Capricorn 1 or 21 or something like that? And I haven't, but they started like talking about that. So like, it was just asking like a question instead of like, hey, let me throw all this stuff at you. So I try throwing stuff at them, they immediately put their hands up in defense, and then they try and defend their beliefs.
Right.
But if you're able to find, like, if you're knowledgeable enough about any topic, you can kind of get the person to find that common ground. And once you're on that common ground, have them take the next step and ask the questions, or be like, well, what do you think about this? And like, what's your experience with this? Like, okay, well, you're on the X diet. How is that working for you? Are you really on it, or are you cheating and also on the junk foods and stuff? Like, what might actually be your issue with this? What was your experience with that diet? Like, you really don't like that diet. Okay, so you're super anti-vegan. What was your experience with that? Find out more. So we have to be really curious and understand what it was that they didn't like about it. And then almost always we're talking about different things. So when I hear somebody complaining about how unhealthy vegans are, I'm like, okay, what food is it that you're referring to as vegan? Or what lifestyle are you talking about? Are you talking about the lifestyle? Or are you talking about just the food? And let's get clear on that. Like, oh yeah, Beyond Meat. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, Beyond Meat is cancer. Anybody who eat that's going to be sick. Like, that's a joke. So yeah, that's not vegan. Like, I don't consider that vegan. That's unhealthy, processed cancer. So they, oh, okay, cool. We agree on this. Yeah. I might be like, have you ever tried like, and there's a bunch of different types. Like, you ever tried an Ayurvedic diet? Have you ever tried these different ones? And ask them that. Like, no. Okay. Well, did you know about that? No. Okay. Well, this is what I'm doing. This is what really working for me. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's the same with all these other things. Is like, okay, well, when did you learn? When did you learn about Santa Claus? All right. What else did you learn during that time? Okay, yeah. And like, what did you learn about Santa Claus? Like how he got around and all that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. And then when did you and how did you find out that? Did you find out that he might not be real?
Mhm.
And then what else around that time did you find out from your childhood that wasn't real? And then start listing all these things. It's like, okay, there's a lot. Now, is it possible that maybe you missed a memo on a couple other things?
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. And so like I went back and checked and I didn't get the memo and everything. I got left behind in a couple subjects. And so my mind got blown when I found out some of this stuff. And it was really cool. And it was also kind of scary and a little terrifying. Like I became super paranoid when I discovered a couple of things. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to know this. If anybody finds out I know this, I'm screwed. Oh shit, I learned it on YouTube. They know I know. They got me. And then I took like a 5-year break from all this stuff because I didn't have a community to go to. I actually what happened is I went on a date with this girl and all I could talk about was every conspiracy theory. She's like, I see that you're really concerned about a lot of stuff right now. And I was like, oh God, I'm one of those crazy people. And so I had to take a break, and that was the right thing for me to do. But also, I didn't have consent from this person to talk about this stuff, and I didn't have the communication skills I do now. And so we need to remember that our indoctrination was very traumatic. We were punished for not knowing a made-up answer. It was a cruel system. Our indoctrination was a very cruel system. And it was designed so that when we were older and we questioned something, other people would get triggered. Like, no, I know the answer. That's the answer. I got it right in first grade. F you if you're going to try and tell me otherwise. Like that, because they have so much trauma around that. And so that's what we're up against. Is we're up against elementary kids who got the right or wrong answer on something, and they will never forget it. And we have to remember that inside of all of us, our inner child, our subconscious mind is maybe 7 years old. Every adult you see, if you trigger them, you're dealing with a 7-year-old. You're not dealing with an adult, and you're not dealing with a rational brain right now. You're dealing with a subconscious. And so when you deal with the subconscious, you have to be very compassionate and very gentle, very patient. And you have techniques for this. So if you're going to be a truther and you want to talk about these things, don't be an asshole. What I mean by that is don't intentionally trigger people. Don't bully 7-year-olds, because that's what you're doing. You're bullying a 7-year-old. We don't need that in the world.
Yeah, man, that's a very profound point that honestly, I don't know if I'd use the word ashamed, but I only recently really understood and realized. And I think it actually came from self-examination in a way. And then I started to realize like, oh, well, we're all living on this earth and we all went through something. Like we all had some type of early child development. And when I started to look at it like that, I actually said it on the stream too, really right when I came back, but it changes everything. And I get in these debates where they're like super heated and intense. And ironically, bro, one of the number one emails I get is like, I don't know how you're so patient or whatever, right? And really, though, and I typically don't watch myself back. When I watch myself back, that is not what I lead with, right? I'm like, oh, you're not very patient, and you're taking the bait, and now you're amping it up, and now you're playing this game, and we discussed that a little bit. It's probably what's kind of wrong with debates in a way. And I always justify it to myself, oh, well, the third party is going to see it's not for them, et cetera. And I think there's truth to that. But yeah, that was one of the major things that I'm like realizing is imagine me and you having this conversation, right? This good faith conversation, and we're getting into details and someone can listen to this. Or so say 2 hours of this. And then someone can listen to like a 5-hour debate of mine where it's super intense. And they're going to leave with way more with me and you discussing, right? And they're in a more receptive mindset, et cetera. And yeah, you alluded to it. Like, I think that we develop these defense mechanisms and really subconsciously in a way. And I started to realize that I had them, right? I started to realize, and I was like, well, I need to go figure out kind of what it is and face it and understand it. And when you look at it like that, it really changes everything. No matter how someone may treat you or whatever, it's like, well, it may not be you. It may be that triggered them. That's a trigger for them, and there's something going on with them, So yeah, I'm actually very interested in it so I'll say this and I'll stop kind of ranting, but like one thing that a lot of people have asked me to do is create some type of outline on how to quote unquote debate. And I think that word is applicable in many things in life. Like say you're doing something business or you're negotiating, or like even like every day you could call it debate. But like the way that we've been seeing debate, certainly in this community, that's not really what debate is. I think debate is a good thing where you just go back and forth with differing viewpoints, and then you find middle grounds and stuff like that. I think that's good.
Is that a debate or is that a dialectic? Because a debate is ultimately you're trying to win a certain point. Like you come there, your goal is to prove this point. It's not to learn more or to come to a new agreement or a new understanding or to discover something together. It is to win and prove this one point. So that is what a debate is. So
that is true. I guess that's true. Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is, so it seems like throughout history, right, whether they're philosophical debates or whatever, throughout really like all societies, people would kind of come together, right, in like the square, the town square, whatever, and they would have differing viewpoints, and then people would sit in and listen, and they'd be like, okay, well, I see where he's coming from, I see where he's coming from, whatever. And I think in the meta, there's a benefit to that, but I guess I agree that there is some distinction there where like if you're just going in and you're dead set, the other person's dead set, I guess there's really that's not going to be particularly productive, other than if one of you got it all figured out and then someone else, hears it. Yeah. So yeah, this is a big thing for me, man. It's a big thing. That would be a major change in my life, right? Because I do it so much, and that's why I was thinking about doing like the podcast thing. But it's crazy. Like I said, the synchronicities with me and you when we talked are pretty wild, because it's something that I'm kind of trying to really figure out the best way to go about. So yeah, I guess, and I'll just throw it back to you. Kind of the idea being, you need like consent. I guess technically debate is consensual, right? But I'm saying like where it's like it's equal interest, and maybe the best way, and with your approach, I've seen a lot of success with it, is kind of like let them ask questions, or if they're like, well, then how does this work? Like, well, I don't know, what do you think about it? Or find a way to bring it back to them, and then just they go through it themselves, and they're wanting your input and stuff like that. I've had way more success with that with people like friends and family in my real life, right? Than as opposed to like, I'm going to hit you with the facts, take it. So I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. Mastering the delivery of information consensually, right? Is and then kind of showing empathy with maybe some of our subconscious like triggers and childhood trauma that we may have developed over time, would probably change this whole entire realm, right? Like if certainly like with trying to get certain forbidden truths out. So yeah, I'm in complete agreement with your sentiment.
Well, a couple things I'd like to add to that. One is I would love to do a couple practice sessions like that with you. We could do them live on here. We could bring in some different people who are having different viewpoints on that. But also, this is I think Dave Weiss is the closest person to create this, but he's not quite doing it right. So if somebody can do this, they will be a millionaire, if not a billionaire. It's really needed. What that is basically like this a flow chart of different questions you have and finding the most relevant answer to each of them. YouTube is a huge waste of time. FE is a huge waste of time right now because it's so hard to find good information. I would pay for good information. That's why I mean, there's money in it. Everybody's interested in this topic secretly. It's like, I know I hear a lot of people who have oodles of money and they say this is kind of like one of their guilty pleasures is looking at this.
Yeah.
But they would pay for the quality stuff because it sucks that there's so much effort to give us all this BS. And likewise, it'd be really valuable for somebody who's learning this. Like, okay, I'm convinced, but I'm no expert. I want to share this with somebody else. Well, if I share this with somebody else and they ask me the question I don't know the answer to, now I look like an idiot and they think this entire topic is an idiot because they associate that with me. So having that kind of like guidebook or handbook, almost like the old school Khan Academy, not new Khan Academy, that's totally sold out and trash. But the old school, it was brilliant. It was this like logic tree you go down and you can master each of these different topics and understand it. Like, yeah, I mean, any of the things you choose, but it would be great to be able to have like the best moon landing example, the best different, the longest vision test, the understanding a quick class on perspective. And if somebody's confused, okay, let me pull up this chart so we can have a conversation on this thing right here. Quick to find, not having to go find the right video, like through David's library of like 5 million videos now to find the one that I remember back 2 years ago, to then spend an hour trying to find that 1 minute slide that was in there. Like we need to have the best resources available and people would pay money for that. I would support that. I know other people would support that. And so that's an opportunity. And that can be a collaborative opportunity among different people. I'm sure that should be done. But also, I think that there should be a paid version of this that rewards the people who are doing this work and doing well. Because here's why we want our best truthers to be wealthy. One, they're going to be able to do what they do better. They're going to be able to spend more money on the things they need so they can do even better work. They're going to have better access to better tools and information, and they can now promote. They now have resources to promote these different ideas and get different places and get bigger events going on, and they can then give away even more. And that's one of the biggest things I've learned from this course I'm taking right now. I've taken 2 $5,000 courses over the past 2 days, and they're absolutely worth it. And they make millions of dollars every day doing all this stuff, and they just keep building on more content. And it's so valuable what you're receiving. And that's the thing, is that this information is so valuable, but the way it's given to people, it's like pulling teeth. You have to spend so much time to learn a little something, and it's hard. Yeah. I really don't enjoy learning from debates personally. Most people don't have time for that. And so when we learn the techniques to share this information really efficiently and in a fun, playful way, so that's the other thing, it needs to be fun and playful. It's like, oh my God, did you see the NASA bloopers like last week? They were so bad. Have you seen the Indian moon landing? Oh my goodness. Did you know they also landed their spaceship on the sun? Like, that was pretty cool. What do you think about that? And like, you like joke about it. That's a very safe way. Humor is a very safe way to introduce these ideas.
Completely agree.
And so we got to get better at that because it's entirely, I'm going to prove you wrong about something. Like, okay, that sounds like a fun date. Yeah, I'll go out. Get out of here, bro.
I agree with you, man. 100%. Like, yeah, I'm as guilty as anyone with it. I guess what it is, man, it's like a trap, right? Because people, the whole approach instinctively of people typically is just to like attack anyone even like suggesting such a thing, and basically the attack is by way of their intellect. And so you have to be mature enough to not take the bait, to be like, oh, okay, well, oh, I'm stupid. Well, what about the kinematic and dynamic equipment? It's not real. That it's ego. That would just, and I'm like, I had that realization. I'm like, dang, man, just being chill and being funny, and maybe integrating art and the basics is definitely the move. Definitely the move. That's why I want to do my podcast, man. I want to do a podcast where people can just come on and it'd be like that. I think I'm past the debate thing. I mean, I would do it in certain scenarios or something, because I do kind of have a gift to be able to do it or whatever. But no, I'm in agreement with you.
Let me moderate one of your debates.
Okay.
I will set some ground rules. Also, okay, I'm gonna teach you all something. Okay. Actually, I really want to pee so I can be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
How about we take like a 2-minute pee break for everybody? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah, totally cool.
Let's do a poll. All right,
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right, no problem, brother. In the world. What's going on, Justin Johnson? Thank you for gifting 5 memberships, brother. Thanks, and everyone that got one. Welcome to the Miswits. Let your food be medicine and your medicine be food. Yes, sir. JD, thank you for the $10 super chat. I'll read that again when he gets back. But thank you for gifting the Miswits. And yeah, anyone that wants to be a part of the community fast, I'm still kind of finalizing some parts of the website. But if you go to the link in the description or the one that's pinned, it'll take you there. There'll be the Etheric Community Fast countdown. You can go read about it. It's going to be cool, man. It's going to be epic. And if you get some of your blends, and I'll even say, since within the last few days when I first mentioned it, then you're going to be on a specific list. You'll get shot private access to the group, and then we'll go from there, just so you guys know. But yeah, I find this whole thing pretty interesting. I think that if anyone's being honest, like, there has to be some type of recalibration to our approach, right? Clearly we haven't glitched the matrix out. So we need to do something, right? Austin, how long is the fast? I don't think that, so it's not like a definitive amount, like someone has to do so long. I think it's going to be each individual person, but the idea is like a long duration fast, as long as you kind of can go. I think there's like a certain point where maybe you would stop, but here we go. Oh, wait. Here you go, brother. You know what's crazy, man, is like, now I have to use the bathroom. Like, if I'll highlight you on the screen and I'll just be back in a couple seconds. That's cool.
Yeah,
you got it
for a moment.
All right, cool.
Good. All right, cool. All right, I have hijacked Austin's stream. Okay, I'm gonna tell you all the real truth. He's lying to you about everything. No, not really. He's awesome. This guy is so great. He's so fun. But I do have something I want to announce to you all. So I announced the Miswits and my message just got disappeared. I'm gifting this community a private session with me for what I'm about to cover. So if you want to check it out, it's lifereset.pro. If you sign up on there and you mention Miswits or Austin, I'll give you a free introductory session with me. No commitment, nothing like that. You get to experience my work firsthand. We can do some trauma healing together, or some human potential work, or relational work together. I'll go into more detail in a little bit about what that is, but check it out, lifereset.pro. Hi, Charlie. Who am I? I love that you jump in right now. Yeah, I had a long intro at the last stream I did with Austin, but I'm a Renaissance man. I have been an entrepreneur since I was a teenager. I've been a self-millionaire multiple times. I love inventing. I love DIY. I love doing everything myself. I've lived without money for almost a decade. I don't recommend doing it. I absolutely love regenerative agriculture or restoration agriculture. I want to have my own large farm where we can do workshops, have a healing center on there where people can learn what is possible, what lifestyle is possible and available to them that they're just totally unaware of, that's been hidden from us. City life has been quite limiting and damaging for a lot of us. So that's who I am. I have an amazing significant other. If you check out my channel, I don't have that on here active yet. I'm a noob with YouTube, I'll admit, but I'm going to be launching my channel. I thought it was already launched, so that's disappointing. But it should be at Steven Dragon 82, and you can see her, and she's on fire in the health and wellness industry. She's amazing, super inspirational. Highly recommend checking her out, but you'll only find her through me. Oh, she has a short up. Wow. I should share it. That's wild. She popped up. Congratulations. I hope she's watching this and she's gonna be like, oh my God, all these people are coming to check her out. She's a little bit shy. So give her lots of love.
Yeah, everyone go show love.
So anyway, I hijacked your channel, told everybody the truth about you.
It'll be okay.
You lost 10,000 subscribers.
You know what's crazy is I actually have like I've seen so many people sub and the analytics like yeah, the next day I lose like all kinds of subs. It's really crazy. Or like they never fully register. Like the analytics of the stream will show you, or like right after you can read the analytics and the next day it's like they got wiped. It's pretty funny. But
yeah, I've seen that. And sometimes they don't do it right either, where like a video will have like way more views than they have followers or something like that. And it's like,
yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, it's really sad.
But I'm trying to I got some stuff in the works for that too. We're gonna glitch out the system, brother. We're gonna try.
Oh, hey, Angela Baby Carlson. Okay, she found me, I think. Let me see if that's the Angela. I really hope you've been so great in this chat. I hope that you sign up for my live reset, the free session with me. It'd be great to meet you in person and see if I can help you out. So yeah, that's cool. She found it. Good link. Thank you. So yeah, I wanted to give everybody an idea for what I'm talking about. So I gave Austin a session. I actually thought I was the reason, just a little bit, ego, why he disappeared for 3 months. Because I gave him a session and the next day he disappeared. And we don't have to talk about your session, but what I was envisioning for a true debate moderator was that you had two people on, and when somebody gets triggered, we pause and then receive a session. We bring them back in the chat and okay, like they can process that trigger they have and then they're good. So to keep both people in that conscious mind state and not going to the subconscious mind state where they're just going to yell or lose it or whatever. Yeah, so we can have a long, healthy debate where people are able to go through that process and heal. And by the way, this is tapping. DIYers, look up EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. It's something I use in conjunction with a lot of techniques I have. So quick tip, if you want to release trauma in your body, especially childhood trauma, you need to engage the mind, the body, and the subconscious mind. So tapping or EFT is one way to do that. So you're tapping on your meridians. These are your energy points. They keep that trigger, that energy flowing, so that while you're processing it, it doesn't go back in your body. You can permanently heal trauma that way. And using some of the techniques I have, we can actually take the energy and reprogram your subconscious so that you can be more of who you want to be. So if you have an irrational fear of koala bears, we can turn that into something productive for you. I don't know. I mean, I threw myself off with the koala bear statement, so I gotta spend a moment now.
There's a conspiracy about koala bears, I think.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I don't even know enough to say anything about it, but I think there is like a koala bear conspiracy, unless I'm getting mixed up. Oh, there's a panda bear conspiracy. That panda bears are like not real or something. There's a conspiracy for everything.
They're painted, right? They're just polar bears that are painted or something.
Yeah, I don't know, like that. Yeah, and that sometimes they have costumes and they dress them up, and you'll never really see one and all that. I mean, I don't know. Good. Anyway, koala bears are cool, man. You don't like koala bears? Are they like? I don't know much about them. Are they like covertly aggressive or something?
I have an aversion to eucalyptus, and so they smell a little bit like eucalyptus.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think they're super adorable, and so my partner wants to have an animal rescue, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of koala bears someday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
I heard a little bit of what you were saying, that you wanted to have like a regenerative agriculture type of setup with your own farm, and then like a healing center there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to have a retreat where we can have events. Like I would love to have, for example, a fasting event where we go, or a true earth event where we go and we have the space set up so we can do the different experiments, enjoy the stars, and go through some real community bonding and healing together, while also learning about homesteading and things that people can do, so people can decide like, hey, I love this so much, I want to duplicate this somewhere else, and start to do that. So yeah, that's what I hope to create. However that looks, I'm open to it. I'm hoping that some rich people whose lives I improve will be so excited that they will fund it all and we can all enjoy it later. The other thing was, I mentioned while you were gone, I did show my lifereset.pro website, offering some free sessions to people who sign up so they can have some experience with me about that. And if you want to, it'd be fun if you wanted to share your experience with me. If not, I can share somebody else's experience.
Oh yeah, sure. I don't care to talk about some. So, yeah. So you showed me tapping, which was actually very interesting to me. I would have probably dismissed it if someone had just told me about it, to be honest. But I did it, and it's actually very cool. It's actually a very cool process. So I would definitely suggest like kind of learning about that and trying it out for you. Like, you can kind of, it seems like there are almost, I don't know if different emotions, but different thoughts are at the moment that are applicable almost relative to your different areas you're tapping. I don't know how else to explain it. And it's almost like it, there were certain places that when I was tapping that would like really kind of make me feel very like at peace, maybe would be the way to say it. It was like very just like kind of honed in. So I thought that was very cool. And that was like one of the first things you showed me. And I was like, oh man, this is pretty crazy. How have I never heard of this? And then we went through a mental exercise, which was pretty profound for me, where, without getting into all the specifics, like I think that I was kind of shown some things that I wasn't previously aware of, and I think I didn't even fully understand some of it until later. But yeah, it was very cool. So you basically walked me through this mental exercise where I closed my eyes and I started to envision these things, and kind of, I guess you could say, like kind of let your subconscious guide you in this way, and then cross over into the conscious mind. And yeah, it was very profound for me. I felt very relaxed afterwards. I felt like I had gotten something off my chest. And although I wasn't even really sure at first, it began to make more sense to me later. And actually, now that you say it, me stepping away probably was related to that. I think it kind of I think it opened up some gates. I think and I think that kind of me being in that state, I think it even like caused certain things to happen. I think that I started seeing things and certain things started happening. And yeah, I think it was probably had a lot to do with that. And I think I now have a much better grasp and perspective on things. And yeah, I have nothing but positive things to say about it. I genuinely am saying that. I wouldn't just say that. So yeah, it was very cool for me. It was very cool.
So I want to explain a little bit about what he experienced, so y'all have a little bit more information. So yeah, start with tapping. Tapping, by the way, I think needs to be taught in elementary school. It's a life skill everybody needs to have. Like if you're starting to feel emotional, like you need to know how to tap. It's great. What I did with him then was we put him in a relaxed state of hypnosis. And our subconscious communicates with us through imagination and images. So I wanted to open him up to have a subconscious healing experience, because we want our subconscious mind and our conscious mind to actually be like in sync with each other a little bit, especially not having opposed objectives, because our subconscious is where we manifest from. So if we have fear or different things that our subconscious mind has unmet needs, they're going to show up in our real life, and we're going to be really confused. Like, why do I keep having bad relationships? Why do I keep losing money? Why do I keep getting scammed? Why do I keep getting trolled? Whatever it is. Our subconscious is attracting that because it's getting off on it. It's getting some form of chemical hit, and it will keep repeating that. And so we can go in and have an experience where we can help your subconscious mature. And that will often come in the form of wisdom or something else. You might have that wisdom during the session, or it might come later. So Austin mentioned that afterwards he started to realize some stuff from that. And I would be really curious if you want to share about it. I remember your experience very vividly. By the way, one of the things with being a practitioner is that I am often psychically connected to that person. And I feel like I see what they see. I can describe your session like from photographic memory. I feel like I really feel like I was there, from each of the doors you went into, the different things you saw, what you were given, all of that. I'm not giving away anything because that's yours to share, but I remember it very vividly. And as such, that is why also I'm very selective with who I do work with, because I don't want to take on energy. I don't want to work with people who are just not a good fit for me. And I don't want to put my energy out for them if they're not a good fit. But this work is really fun and it's really exciting. And I'm hoping to have a team of people who are doing what I'm doing, because once you experience this, you'll see that this can very quickly heal the world. One of my most common testimonials is that one session with me was like a year of therapy. So.
Wow. Yeah. It was very cool. And like, so for me, yeah, basically like one of the settings was basically, me being aided or prepared for something important task that was to happen basically. And then, the other setting was seemingly that task or something like that. And, it's like I was prepared to go to that task, and it was, as cliche as it sounds, basically like going up against evil in a way, is kind of like the way that I saw it. And then there were these distraction and these mocking and these side attacks, but they kind of knew they couldn't really mess with me. But then there was like this kind of central figure that I wasn't really able to do anything about, but it couldn't really touch me. And that's like a really brief summary. So what I did, I kind of went like meditated and prayed about it. I like, because I wasn't exactly sure. And so I feel like what happened basically is stuff in my life started to happen when I was praying and like in meditating, and that's what I consider prayer. Yeah, I was trying to get clarity about it, and then things began to kind of take place around me that seemed to be applicable to it. It's kind of hard to explain with, I don't want to divulge, certain things, but, basically it started to make more sense as time progressed. And I don't necessarily want to go into full detail about all of it, to be honest, right now. But I will say I realized, when I was really seeking clarity and understanding, one of the things I realized was, I needed to kind of figure out what happened to me when I was a child. And at the time, I would have thought that that was unrelated, but I don't think it was really. I don't think, now. And so I had to kind of I went on this little like journey to figure out what really happened to me when I was younger. I didn't really know all these details. And I started to very quickly see, oh, well, that's why I'm this way. And that's why I react like this. And that's why I maybe have trust issues in this area. Right. And it was a very beneficial thing for me. It was a very like, I'll always remember, it's a defining moment kind of for me where really kind of internalizing and accepting and facing some of these things that it was almost like I compartmentalized in my mind or something and not even allow myself to realize that they were there. I really went and just kind of sought them out and faced them. And really, I'll say this, man, it was almost one of the major overlaps was like when we were doing that exercise, it was like, it's as if there's something big and bad, but really it's not in a way. And dude, that's exactly how the childhood thing was. Like I had always like avoided some of this stuff. And if anyone doesn't know, and I don't want to get all into it right now or whatever, but like, there was things happened with like my birth mom and stuff like that when I was young. And I always kind of had it like compartmentalized over there. And I had this real discombobulated version of it. I wasn't able to really remember anything about her. And it was just it was almost like I had put a block up in my mind where I just had a couple like visuals and like nothing else. I couldn't, and so in my mind, I was just, I don't know, I guess like subconsciously like so afraid of that I avoided it, and kind of it affected the way that I interacted with people and perceived things. And when I really looked at it, I'm like, oh, well, it wasn't really that big of a deal. Like, sure, it's intense. Some of the stuff that happened was intense. It's like, it could be like a movie almost. It's pretty crazy, but like, it wasn't that big of a deal, like looking at it was way more beneficial to me than what I had been doing, which was like subconsciously suppressing it or whatever. And I know that without a lot of the details, you guys won't fully understand this, but I will just say that was one of the major parallels that clicked with me, was that basically I may have thought it was like this real big deal or this thing coming to get me or like looming over me. And really, when it's all said and done, it really wasn't that serious, and it isn't like a threat to me or anything. And I'm like at way more peace with all of it. And now I'm like, I have a lot more understanding, and I'm growing for sure. It's like I almost took the glasses off for the first time or something. So like I'm now kind of re-examining everything. And so I'm in a really good place, man. I'm kind of excited about it all. And anyone that saw my comeback stream, that has a lot to do with kind of what I was saying in the stream, where I'm like, I'm starting to realize a lot of what you were just kind of talking about is like, well, everyone has these things, and we should be more empathetic about that and understand it. And we'll make way more progress. So that was a lot. I know that was a lot, and I don't want to get into all of like, let's say like the specifics of what happened when I was a child and stuff right now or anything. But yeah, that's kind of like a summary of it.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And may I dissect a couple things?
Yeah.
One is this was 3 months ago, and it was about an hour we spent together, and how much clarity he still has from that experience. That's how powerful this work can be. And also I would say that it would be really great if we could find a way to continue that work, because it brought up a couple of areas where you realized that there may be some other stuff to integrate to have you whole. And so with this, is you'll realize there's often like a mind map of different things, like different, some people call them shock points, different things that happen throughout your life that define who you are now, and they're not all good. Mostly they're not. They're limiting. And so when we address them, we get more of our power back, and we become, again, more human, more of who we are, or more of what our potential is. And we ultimately have more control over our lives instead of being run by our subconscious or limited by our subconscious. So it's super fun. It's really wild work. I've had so many amazing experiences myself, because obviously to become a practitioner, I had to go through hundreds of sessions myself. And it doesn't take that many to have very profound results. He had one, and it seemed quite profound in the impact it had. But depending on your experiences, it could be a handful, and you could end up wanting to go all in, where you're like, I'm going to commit a year to just cleaning up everything I have to become the best version of myself, and to reprogram myself so that any blocks I have or whatever, any limiting thoughts I have are gone. Because we can clear limiting thought in one session. We can turn that into a positive affirmation or a new behavior in one session. Like, reprogramming you is what this is all about. And you get to decide who you want to be, how you want to show up, under what circumstance you want to have certain types of reactions, all of that. Because we're a bunch of programming. We can biohack your programming and turn you into whoever you want to be, however you want to show up. It's really fun. It's really cool. And that's one thing that has me really excited about humanity's potential, is that we can very quickly overcome anything that's happened in our life with these tools. And there's a lot of bad stuff happening to people right now, and has happened to people. And if we can all get over that in a healthy way, I think that we can spend the rest of our lives making the world an awesome place for everybody.
Yeah, man. And I'll address, like, because, like, it's no secret that, like, I have, I believe in the scriptures. I think they're super messed with and misunderstood and stuff like that. And so, like, people get, like, always get really touchy about, like, everything, and, I will say the creator, and yeah, I believe I have a personal relationship with, like, the all powerful, like, kind of force. I think a little piece of that is in all of us. He wants us to look within. He wants us to understand our power, to tap in on it. So, like, this whole, like, pinning it against each other stuff that people do is really weird to me. I won't get too much further into that. I won't even get that much attention, but I always find that very weird, because when you really start to kind of do any type of true self-reflection, you start to realize, like, oh man, I'm super powerful. And it's crazy the things the mind can do. It's crazy how the mind operates and how it compartmentalizes and how it starts to, like, kind of cascade into the physical and how we react and all this. And it's very fascinating. I mean, it's like just further evidence of just, like, this incredibly meticulous machinery that we are, we're very powerful. And yeah, I think that I can't understand why someone wouldn't understand that intuitively, that it accepting and acknowledging and discovering that power and harnessing it and utilizing it is what we were clearly, like, designed to do. So that's how I perceive that whole thing, just to address, because I can tell people are already starting to be extra about that, but that was my whole position. And yeah, I will just reiterate, I think that it was like a major step for me, where now the way, and people will see it over the course of the next few months and into the next year and the next year, they'll see a major change in me, because the way that I'm going to approach everything is different, and it's very exciting. I'll just say that it's very exciting. And yeah, I'm very grateful for you doing that, man, and for having that session with me. It's pretty wild. I didn't know at the time much deeper than the surface, other than I just kind of felt like much more relaxed and stuff like that. But it was really crazy that, like, just kind of almost immediately going forward, it started to be very impactful. I started, so yeah, and I want other people to have that experience for them too, right? And of course, like, as it pertains specifically to me, I would say, well, I like meditated and felt like I, like, prayed and tried to seek out answers and was really receptive to things in my life. to kind of interpret them and stuff. And I went and sought it out. But yeah, I know I'm kind of just going all over the place. But my point is that it really, people will see that there's a major pivot in kind of my view, my outlook, and how I interpret my purpose, and how I'm supposed to go about it, and the true potential of that. And yeah, man, this is just all positive things. I can't see why anyone wouldn't ever disagree, right? I think that's a beautiful thing. And so, yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good about it. I mean, like, I did just disappear because I was like a million, it just was a whole like revamp for me in a way. And yeah, I'm much more recalibrated now.
What would you say your purpose is now?
So it's not really that my purpose changed as much as the clarity of it did. So I still feel that my purpose is to try to shed light on truth, if you want to say it like that, like bring truth to the world, as cliche as that sounds. Because I think that knowledge is powerful and it's very freeing and stuff like that. But I will say, so the way that I'm supposed to go about that purpose is now like interpreted much different. Like, whereas back in the day, I was almost like, I almost had pride in how little I cared about money. It's just an example. And I realized like that's completely not what I'm supposed to do. That isn't the scenario at all. I'm supposed to actually apply my gifts and aptitudes to get the resources to be able to actually, that is part of my purpose, right? It's like, it was a total 180. And that's just one example. But yeah, but basically in a very brief nutshell would be like, just to get truth out there and then inspire community and like people coming together and kind of organically creating alternatives to some of these like traps that have been set up, and helping lay out a blueprint for the future generation, basically, so that they can overcome and we can kind of help them avoid some of the stuff that we had to learn the hard way, in a very, very like broad way. I mean, specifics of all that, whether that's a schooling system or health or how we grow our food, or yeah, basically that, like coming together around the truth and creating the next generation of legends.
Excellent. Yeah, I want to support you in that. And on the shoulders of giants. So if you can make what you put out there accessible to people where they can then reuse it in a positive way, also, we'll be able to leapfrog forward in our abilities. And we need people to be really successful at this, because that's going to draw more people to it, is that being a truther needs to be sexy. Like, that's a fact. And there are some people who are doing great jobs with it. They're making it really sexy, and not just like porn style sexy, but I'm talking like lifestyle desirable. Like, yeah, we can get paid well for doing good in this world. And there's enough for everybody too. The scarcity mindset, when you really start to like go down the rabbit hole, scarcity, understanding that's another trap. It's a thought trap. It's you manifesting scarcity for yourself instead of manifesting abundance for yourself. And we can all have really great lives, and we can help each other doing that. And part of the way to do that is to have a big network of people that believe in you and that support you. And so I can't think of a better thing to do than spreading the truth, spreading healing, helping people, and getting rewarded for that, so that they can then have clarity in what they're doing and feel good about what they're doing and feel healthy doing it, and continue to have this positive feedback loop. And many of my emails I close with hurt people, and healed people help people heal. So I want to help people heal, so y'all help other people heal, and we can break the cycle of hurt.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful, man. What do you like? I almost think that, like, in a way, that's why we're here, is to like kind of, I don't know what the word is, struggle, but like struggle and then learn. I think that that's maybe why we're here, right? Is to actually, because it's crazy, because you're really not going to find anyone that couldn't work on facing and trying to understand what we're talking about within themselves. And so since it's equally applied across the board, as far as I can tell, there's a pretty strong argument that that may have a lot to do with why we're here. I mean, you know, who can ever fully answer that question? But yeah, I think it's very important. I think that's what I currently think. Someone asked me like, "What's the purpose?" a few days ago, maybe it was like a week ago or so, and I'm like, maybe to actually go through some of the stuff that you're complaining about, so that we have to figure it out, and then we learn the process of learning. You know, so yeah, I'm all about the healing thing, man. I think that we have a freaking generation of traumatized people, and I think it's probably worse now than ever because of like even when we're born. I think the way that we're born is like engineered to traumatize us. Yeah,
Yeah, I've gone down that rabbit hole recently too. Just rethinking about all that. Birth is one of the most traumatic things I think a baby experiences or human experiences.
crazy.
It's so unnecessary and so unethical. Nobody should ever go to a hospital. I'm done.
Yeah.
I would love to shift to talking a little bit about some different possibilities for our reality.
Okay.
So one thing, disclosure for y'all, is I take the tantric mindset that it's both and more, not either or. So what's helped me a lot is when I hear a new idea, it's like, how can I maybe integrate? What is the truth in that? There's always truth in something. Even in a lie, there's some truth to be found there. But also, how could both of those things be true? For example, let's say flat Earth or heliocentric and geocentric models. Is there a possible scenario where both of those are simultaneously true? And I came up with one answer, which is, and I don't believe this one, but I did come up with an answer, and it works, is that we are in a simulation where half the people, all the inputs they receive are for a heliocentric world, and the other half are receiving a geocentric world information. And you can do that. You can create a simulation. We can create a video game where the avatars are playing on the same map, but one's experiencing one reality, the other's experiencing another reality. It's pretty wild. That could happen. The creator model, I think, is very compatible with a simulation theory, because if we're in a simulation, that means there's a creator. I'm not saying we're in a video game or a simulation as we experience it through our computers, but it could be a simulated reality that we're in it, because we don't know what is beyond here. So this might be their more simplified thing, or a simulation could be like you take a petri dish and put a dome on top of it, and it's enclosed, and you see what happens there. That you're running a simulation for life and how that evolves in that space. I recently read the story called The Egg. Are you familiar with this, Austin?
Yeah. A story called The Egg.
Yes.
No.
All right. I want to drop the link for y'all because it's a good story. I think everybody would appreciate it. Let me see if I can find it quickly. No, I'm reading a bunch of random stuff. Anyway, I'll tell you all in like 2 minutes. So this guy dies, and he sees, and God's there waiting for him. He's like, hey. And he's like, oh no. He's like, am I dead? And he's like, yeah, you get hit by a car. You're dead, but don't worry. Your kids, you died young enough that your kids still think you're a legend, and they'll always think highly of you. And your wife feels guilty about you dying, but things weren't going very well anyway, so it probably worked out best for both of y'all to avoid the divorce kind of thing. And he's like, oh, that's kind of weird. That sucks. He's like, okay, well, what now? Do I go to heaven or whatever? It's like, no. It's like, you're going back to Earth. You're going to be a Chinese girl from 1500 BC. And he's like, what? If I run into like myself or whatever? He's like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, I run into myself all the time? He's like, yeah, it happens. And it's like, doesn't that get weird or confusing? It's like sometimes, but not usually. You usually forget about yourself. And he's like, oh, well, who else is there? He's like, oh, well, nobody really. It's just you. It's just me. He's like, I'm everybody? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, what's the point of all this? Why did you create this? He's like, because someday you'll be me, or you'll become like me. You're one of my kind. But right now you're just in an egg. And I missed like the catches of this, but basically all of us are a soul, and we're put here to have an experience from a perspective. And when we die, the experience is put back into like this cup or jar that's our soul. And we get to experience life from all these perspectives. Every living thing we get to experience until we are omnipresent, omnipotent. And that's it. Every wrong we do, we're doing to ourselves. Every kind thing we do, we're doing to ourselves also. And then eventually we had that realization we did everything we did to ourselves. And I think that's a beautiful perspective to have, because it lets me have a lot of compassion and kindness and feel good about what I'm doing. So like right now I'm talking to potentially thousands of different versions of myself out there who I want to see live a bit better life. And I hope that I inspire them to live a better life also, and inspire others to do that. So we can get through this thing together in some way. But and then with that realization that we would be each other if we were raised in those same circumstances as that person. And so let's have that compassion and try and bridge these understandings and have forgiveness for different people, for different things that have happened. So that's a fun perspective. And that could be a point of the simulation, or why the creator created us, is that we're going through these iterations to mature enough. Because right now humanity as a whole is not mature. We if there's a galactic rate, like if space was real and there were all these different advanced societies everywhere, humanity should not be welcome as we currently are. We can't even get along with ourselves, let alone other creatures. So that's a perspective. That's a pretty fun one. That's not the only one I subscribe to. So I believe in a lot of different possible things. So I don't know which one's right. But that one, I think you immediately adopt a lot of morals. If you're like, oh wow, like you're me, how can I help you? Like you're going through something tough right now. I've gone through tough things too. Like let me spend some time helping you out or teaching you this new thing, kind of thing. I could also see you ever check out the channel like Archaea X. It's like Advanced AI X is what it stands for. He's got some cool stuff. He goes through a lot of these ancient documents and things, and he thinks we're in multiple simulated realities at one time. And I could see that we're being tested. There's like one that I see as being possible, like one that we're in could be with a devil. But there's so many layers to it. And that's what's really fun with this, is that you can go. Did you check out John Lamb Lash after I mentioned him last time?
I don't remember. I would.
Okay.
I don't think so. I would remember. Maybe I don't know.
So this guy, like with these rabbit holes, we keep discovering like another layer. So we we're conditioned to believe in the heliocentric model. I'm like, oh wow, you do the math and look outside and do a few different experiences, you see that this might not be what's true. It's actually this geocentric model. Okay. Oh, wow. I remember learning about this in the Bible. Maybe the Bible is factually true. So now you have people step into that. And then you realize, then you start investigating the church. And you're like, oh, there's all these different things going on. Oh, Satanism is a really big thing. And you're like, okay, well, maybe there's this conspiracy there that's happening. And then you can go beyond that to up to the higher levels of all that. And you're like, oh, there's another layer, like another god that's actually manipulating them, is pretending to be both Satan and Yahweh. and he's trying to get Humana's attention to distract you from Gaia Sophia. So both Yahweh and Satan are actually one, which is the archons, and they were created by the aeons. And so this is kind of new agey stuff, I guess you might say. It's actually not new; it's very old. This was rediscovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Gnostics, this is what they believed was happening, and this is pre-Christian stuff I'm talking about right now. And so they believe that the Earth is Gaia Sophia, who's a living being, a living ion, or a living, what we would call a god. And we're her dream, and she's manifesting us, and we're interacting in that way. So I'm sharing these different things, not because I believe in one in particular, because there's so many different possibilities, and they all have interesting ramifications if they were true. And there's a fair amount of evidence that each of these different things could be true on some level. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know how deep it'll go. All I know is that my reality keeps getting more and more expansive as I learn more.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. I like so yeah, I'm always very open to hear different perspectives. What I've discovered is, so I've had some very crazy experiences with scriptures, and I feel like they always kind of stand up, but rarely is what people say about them what it seems to actually mean. And I think it has like underlying metaphysical truth and stuff like that. I think that like in Romans it says that basically we're all different parts of the body of Christ, and that there are multiple places that point blank kind of lay out the idea of being interconnected. And then it says that we are basically energetic within, in that we return to the source. There's also a part where there's like water going into a vase, and then the vase is broken. And then the water, which represents the spirit in the scriptures, and the clay representing our physical bodies, the water's then put into a new vase. And he says, can my Father not do that? Which is very interesting idea. I think, people have such like visceral reactions to anything not within what they currently think. And I just don't understand that. I don't think that that's the right way. Now there are, I certainly disagree with some of the things that were said as my current understanding, but I don't think that hearing alternative perspectives are ever bad. Well, what is interesting is a lot of the stuff that you say, and most people don't seem to even really look into it, even have its place in the scriptures. I think we're very, very clearly interconnected, and effectively eternal, and that we're compartmentalized experiences of the ultimate source. And it just point blank says that, and it says that we go back to the source. Now, what as to the personable idea of returning and stuff like that, I don't know. One thing that kind of does make sense to me in a way is like, and we kind of talked about this on Globebusters actually, the idea that, well, basically the creator, the ultimate source, is now compartmentalized, like experiential components, basically. So you can experience this whole range of situations by compartmentalizing it. And are we all kind of playing our own role in that? Right. And I think that's a pretty profound idea. So yeah, there's like a little bit of my take on it. I think that there's a lot of hidden gems in the scriptures, for example. You have to get to the Hebrew and stuff. I mean, and really, I'm just like pretty solid on them being legit because of my experience, right? But I also know that what it says in scriptures is that you don't have to read the scriptures. It suggests that you do, but it doesn't say that you're doomed if you don't. And like, what about the people that existed before they were written? And it's like a bunch of stuff like that's just kind of common sense. And I think we're just supposed to be inquisitive and try to figure it all out, and we won't figure it out completely. But I think that is kind of what we're here for. Is it's kind of cool in that way. It's like, and I'll say this to kind of wrap it up. The way that I view this is like, say that there is an eternal existence, right? And outside of the confinement of what people call space, time, and matter, and all this, or whatever this realm really is. And then, so you can just eternally exist in that situation. Well, then alternative is kind of how we exist, where we have like this huge range of human emotions and experiences and like physical limits and et cetera, right? And we can actually make a physical version of us and a mini me, and all this crazy stuff. Well, then if you're also eternal, like, well, then you get to experience the other also. So I look at it like it's an additional experience, right? Like that wouldn't exist unless created in a way. And so when I look at it like that, I'm like, oh, well, it's like a beautiful thing. It's pretty cool, right? It's like the limit is actually a removal of limits, meaning like prior to that, it wasn't a limit that existed, right? Because, eternal, no material confinement or whatever. And now it's created an additional experience by imposing limits in a way. And hopefully that was digestible, but like, that's kind of how I view it. I think these are very profound ideas. I think we're supposed to think about them. I think we're supposed to try to like wrap our mind around it. And I consistently just find myself in the position where I'm like, this is starting to get outside of my mind's capability, but I do find it very interesting. I think that people, they shut down these conversations a bit too quickly. I mean, then with the simulation thing, I find it interesting that when it comes, there's a parallel in physics, with the ether and everything being different modalities of that and being somewhat fluid in nature and being able to transfer from point to point to point to point. And what does consciousness have to do with that? And energy seems to be consciousness and will and all this stuff. We could go on and on, right? But I think there are also somewhat misguided, limited versions of it that kind of get pumped out to people to remove kind of like the true beauty of it. And that's kind of all I'll say. I think that we have the ability to connect with the creator. I think that he gave us a piece of him, and some people don't like that I personify it or whatever, but and I think you can kind of like tap into that and feel it and resonate with it and receive guidance and signs and synchronicities and stuff like that. And so, long story short, I believe in the scriptures, but I don't limit what they really say, and I don't fit into religious boxes. And I encourage everyone else to kind of consider that, right? Like consider stepping back, because I just read in the chat, some people, they think they have it all figured out, and I can assure you, no one here has it all figured out.
And I feel like I misrepresented myself a little bit. I was looking at the chat a bit too, and the point I wanted to make was that when it was a thought process, and I know I lost people on that way, was that when you wake up to the fact that, where evolution isn't what's going on here, there was a creator. You now have a million different pathways to choose, and that can lead you down all these different rabbit holes also. So if you didn't grow up with the scriptures, you're trying to figure things out, it's very daunting. It's like, how do you reach these conclusions and stuff? And I thought your debunking atheism was brilliant, by the way. That was a really well done thing you put out. And my point is that there are so many layers to this, and also people who are just sharing information, are like, hey, I discovered this thing. Like, I just did, y'all. I might have actually done a disservice to somebody by pointing out there's even more layers you can go down, and how do you figure out which one's right or whatever. And so I apologize if I offended anybody there. That was my intention. My intention was to point out that there's so many layers to this that it's hard to know when you hit the final truth, because there's a little bit of truth in all these things. And also, I do know I sound a little new agey. Living in Austin will do that to you. So I spent a lot of time looking at this different stuff. But I'm definitely open and actively learning more, because I'm very interested in the truth, and there's a lot I don't know yet. So I'm here to learn. I definitely don't have the answers on this either, but it has been a very fun and interesting journey for me so far. So anybody who's on that, it's cool. It's fun to it's like science fiction, some of this stuff, looking at different theories of reality. I think they're interesting. So just I'm talking about them doesn't mean I believe in them. That's how I open my statement.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like some people are just, it's like a foreign concept to them. I don't know. When they're like hearing, just fully being able to just hear new perspectives and understand, like, if you kind of come to like teach and to learn, meaning like there's certain things that you figured out as far as you know, and so have other people. And so like just fully hear and think about things, because the way that I feel about my interpretation of scripture and my relationship with what I call the creator, and I say the creator is Yah, right? Like hallelujah and all that has changed. It's adaptive. That's how it's supposed to be, I think. I think that you're just supposed to grow and learn. And when you find out that it doesn't look like the earth or where we reside is really what they said, um, that opens up this huge realm of possibilities. Like what is this realm? How does it work? But like, sure, who knows, man? I like truth is probably stranger than fiction. So yeah, anyway, I mean, I would just say, like, hearing you out, there are certain trigger words, probably, right? That's the issue. But to me, I just was trying to listen to you in good faith. I think it's interesting to hear other people's perspectives, and um, I think that there are little truths scattered all throughout this realm, and I think kind of the whole thing is trying to pick up the pieces and slowly try to get a picture, and yeah, man, you didn't offend me. I know you're good over here. I mean, you prefaced it by saying that there are all these different possibilities. You don't necessarily subscribe to any of them definitively. So I think it's good to be like that. I think it's good to be open minded. In fact, if you even want to, people want to talk about the scriptures, Yeshua specific made that a point, like very many times. Like these religious people thinking they know all about it don't. And they need to chill. So anyway, yeah, I find it all very interesting. I think that's how you get to truth, man. I think that if you're closed off and think you already know it all, then there's no way that you can get there. There's no way we would have found out the stuff that we have been finding out as truthers. Can't be like that, so yeah, man, that's how I view everything. So
And
we're on.
I think with this too, the religion and the truthers, I think that they're, again, with what is your intention as a person, not you specifically, but just everybody. When we share the truth with somebody, if they don't immediately take it or they don't see it the way they do you then judge them? Do you make fun of them? Do you say they're a bad person, or get patience with them, help them see more, that kind of thing? Because with any of these topics, like, if you grew up knowing this was truth, all of it, then you're acting in faith, and faith is what we're also arguing against when it comes to the truth. Is we're trying to help people realize, like, yeah, faith in scientism is misplaced, and if we're going to hold that stance, like, we need to check all of our beliefs. And so I'm still going through this thing of checking all my beliefs and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And I look for any good information and shortcuts. As I said, I'm willing to pay and trade for whatever I can that'll give me a shortcut, because there's so many rabbit holes that lead to nowhere good. And I would love to avoid those. And that's where there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of help that's needed, is saving people from dead end rabbit holes. Give me a good story that leads to a good place. That's true. And I'm down.
Yeah, it's very interesting, man. Like, that is like a clear need. I will say they haven't helped with that, right? With like kind of scattering and compartmentalizing, and it really, I mean, it takes a lot of dedication to even consider trying to go down there, because you will have to be innovative to make money doing it. Well, I do agree with you that if you're able to be innovative, that it's definitely needed. Of course, that is what demands market value, right? Like need. So yeah, I agree with you. That's pretty interesting. It's just a lot of synchronicities, man, because I've been trying to think about that too. I have a few ideas, but it's a lot to it.
Are you familiar with? I haven't looked at this in a while, but BitTorrent had this. They came out with a token to go with it, which rewarded people who were sharing content. And one of the things I know it can be expensive is hosting this kind of content, for thousands or millions of views. But using a torrent site that can host everything, whereas being simultaneously shared everywhere and then rewarding the people who are sharing it becomes a great way to offset all those costs. And that also protects against any form of censorship, because they can only take it off their servers. They can't take it off of everybody else's computer where it's stored. So that becomes, I think it's a brilliant anti-censorship tool that's available to us. I've been on there in a while, so I don't know how it's working anymore, but I know you used to be able to stream on it. And so it seems like a really good spot for material that might get taken down, needs community support now and in the future.
Yeah, very cool comment here. Anyone who fears shopping in the marketplace of ideas doesn't have full faith in their beliefs. Although, full faith in their beliefs is, of course, a very interesting phrase. We have some super chats before I lose them. I'll throw them up and see what you say here. So, hashtag THC show, keep seeking the truth, everyone. That's Truthers Hour of Comedy. Thank you for the love, brother. Much love. Teabaggins, great topics tonight. Thanks to both of you. I drink 2 glasses of Stevens Dragon Blend per day. Great stuff.
Thank you, Teabaggins.
Yeah, nice. Thank you for the support. And I agree. I completely agree. JD on YouTube, $10 super chat. Let your food be medicine and your medicine be your food.
Yeah, that's an Ayurvedic quote, I believe. Nice.
I totally agree. And then maybe occasionally the lack thereof, huh? Justin, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome to the Misfits, whoever got it. That dude's a legend, always gifting memberships. I'm gonna hook you guys up with some exclusives. I'm almost done with a lot of the exclusive stuff for the members and the Patreon, so that's coming soon. Tim Timay, Witsit is cool. Is good at relatively rapping. Thank you for the $10 super chat, brother. Much love. Thank you for the kind words. Matthew, come on out, military. Thanks for saving our lives. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I'm not particularly fond of most of what the military does, but thank you for the super chat. I have no idea. Unless that's referring to us as that. I don't know what that would be talking to. Is there something that happened in the world of Vin I don't know about? Because I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if it did happen. But thank you for the super chat. Sorry, I don't fully understand. Teabaggins, hi, Steven. What would you say is the minimum duration needed for a fast to get real healing benefits? 3 days, 4 days, more?
Great question, Teabaggins. So on every Dragon's Blends, I actually give a fasting sticker. This one's a little that has the timeline on there. So I'll read that to y'all. That was hard to see, I know. So after 12 hours, digestion and insulin levels peak. 12 to 18 hours, fat burning begins, insulin levels drop. 18 to 24 hours, ketosis begins, glucagon rises. 24 to 48 hours, autophagy begins and brain growth and repair happen. 48 to 54 hours, HGH surges and inflammation is reduced. 54 to 72 hours, insulin sensitization. Wow, I can't say that. Sensitizing begins. Or basically, like if you have become insulin sensitive, that begins to diminish. And autophagy peaks. And then 72 plus hours, you have stem cell formation and immune cell refresh. So you start getting peak benefits on day 3. Day 3 is also the day when you start feeling good. Once you hit day 3, day 4 is usually really easy. Day 5 is easy. Day 6 is easy. It stays easy for a while if you had a good flow into your fast. And you can probably fast for up to 2 weeks. I don't recommend going more than 2 weeks without really doing a lot of research into fasting, because you can have some stagnation in your gut. So I don't think it's good to go that long without a bowel movement if you didn't properly prepare for the fast, but 2 weeks is safe. So aim for 3 or 4 days. when you feel like you've hit hunger's come back or you want to stop, do it then.
I always drink too much before streams. I don't know why I do that. But,
to stay hydrated. I do the same thing.
yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I have those, send them out. Very cool. I think, bro, I'm excited about the community fast, man. I think I really want to I want to create like a video kind of outlining it. I want to really put some effort into the group and make a really good way. I don't know if I even want to just limit it to Telegram. I want to have a Telegram, but I want somewhere else maybe, because I've realized not everyone has Telegram. And maybe on the website, like a subcategory for the group that, you enter your credentials or whatever, you can get in there and people can share and upload. And we'll have, I think we should keep Telegram group too. We can talk about all the details, but yeah, I think uploading videos and having Telegram has the video calls. And I really just want to kind of show people my experience as well, and hopefully like encourage other people. I think the idea of us all kind of being on the same page and like kind of elevating, right? Which is why I say on this elevate to an etheric state. I think that's a really powerful thing. And so hopefully I want us to really harness it this time. I think that we can really take some like positive steps as like a community together. So I'm really looking forward to it, man.
I think one thing I would love to have, I don't know when it's going to make sense to do, but maybe this one, who knows, is have a daily check-in. Like, what I mean by that is a live video where or a Zoom call or equivalent, where everybody can come hop on, see faces, we can share our experiences, ask questions, that kind of thing. That's when we need the support. That's when you want to have community. I would probably schedule them during meal times when we're not eating, so we all have that time in common. Granted, time zones are hard, but that would be really valuable and fun. A lot of people use WhatsApp. I have it. I mean, I don't really use any of these things very much. I like to keep my connections one-on-one like this, but I'm open and I'll support whatever y'all choose.
Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool idea, man. Because Telegram does have a very like smooth like video call feature. And so if a bunch of people would go through there, I think that maybe, so what we'll do is I'll track the purchases and then I'll send them out. I'll send out like the way to get to the group. And then if, you can message me with like, I don't know, your order confirmation or whatever. And then we'll get everyone into the group that way. I'll make sure everyone gets it. So check your email, whatever email you put in, when you get some of the blends, and I'll shoot the email there. And then you can also message me with the confirmation number. And then I will make sure everyone gets to the group, whether we have a couple locations or not. And then, yeah, we can do with the video call. Sounds very cool, man. I think that's a big part of it, right? Like, when I played college football, right, I had to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning to work out, and I did not like it, especially when that was a time in my life where I was wilding, man. So like I was drinking and hanging out with girls and whatever, bro. And so then I'd only have a couple hours. I got to get up and then go physically work out, and it was brutal. But the accountability of my team and my friends always got me there on time. I was always there, and I wasn't going to be the person that let the other people down. And when I wasn't feeling it, my friend had me. And when my friend wasn't feeling it, I had him, whether I'm knocking on his dorm or whatever. And I think accountability is so important. And it creates this camaraderie, I think it's really like the missing component to many things in life. So I think that part of it's beautiful, because I will say, if you've never really fasted for any long durations, you're going to have these moments where you just start like thinking, okay, I just need to eat. And those are the moments that you maybe would reach out to someone like, right. And would be like, oh no, I got you, man. I was feeling like that a second ago, but check this out. So yeah. And just fix you a glass of water, drop some of the blend in there. Maybe experiment with the different types and go talk to people and keep it going. And dude, I got a lot of feedback on it. And if you guys have some experiences, send me the testimonies and stuff, send Steven the testimonials and stuff. Cause I think that's very important, and we'll continue to compile them as we do this. But yeah, I've had some people call me and talk to me about it, and it's epic, very epic, the stuff that they experience fasting. So there's kind of my take on that. I'll keep everyone updated on the details, and you can go to the website and kind of keep up with the details, and we'll do it that way.
Accountability is one of the best things you can do to set yourself up for success. I can't find it right now, but basically about a 95% chance of being successful if you have somebody who you are accountable to. While just having a goal, you have like a 10% chance. It's drastically different. And we are social creatures. We are affected by peer pressure, and we create our own positive peer pressure. We do really well. So creating those scenarios, opting into them, we can be really successful at a lot of things. And I'll help you all out. I'm volunteering my time to do this, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I hope you all really get a lot out of it.
Yeah, bro. Someone said, could we quickly hear an overview of the different blends? And I will say also I dropped the link to the site in there, and so I kind of did write up a description of each of the blends on the site if you want to go check that out. But do you want to maybe kind of give them a quick overview? I know you've probably done that quite a bit, but just like a quick description of the different blends.
Yeah, so we didn't talk about one of them, so I'll start with that actually. Is what makes my blends most unique is they have half of them have activated charcoal in them. So this one, for example, is coal. It has it's a Dutch Light blend with activated charcoal, and that's what's called coal. This one is called Fire and Coal, which also has cayenne pepper in it. So the cayenne pepper is there for helping with inflammation and to keep your circulatory system a little more active because you can get cold while fasting. So you're burning more. It helps you get into ketosis faster. It's not very hot. I use an organic cayenne pepper. It's not super spicy right now. The activated charcoal is one of the hacks for having a great fast. When you fast, you release a lot of toxins. Where do those toxins go? They go back into your system. So the charcoal is there to absorb them, to help you eliminate them properly. So if you haven't fasted in a while, you have a big detox dump, you're going to feel like you have a flu. You can look it up. It's called Herxheimer's. That's preventable with activated charcoal. So the blends have activated charcoal in it, so you don't feel sick while fasting. If you're not feeling good on your fast, you need activated charcoal. If you have a really clean system, you don't need it. Or you can take activated charcoal in the morning or night. Activated charcoal, by the way, is something that everyone in modern day age should probably be taking because of the amount of toxins we're exposed to. So these blends have them in there. They help purify your water, all of that. But if you don't want it for any reason, it does make your drinks look black. I have two blends, Fuel and Fire, that don't have it. Fuel is just plain, tastes like clean water. Fire has has cayenne pepper in it also. It's a little spicier. Not too spicy again, but it's nice. So I hope that answered your questions, JD.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro.
I recommend the Fire and Coal. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, Fire and Coal is awesome. It's definitely one of the more popular ones. All right. Didn't realize we okay, here we go. Lisa, awake but not woke. One thing Effie has done is push people towards God. Yeah, for sure. It's made people realize, someone made this place something with intelligence. Lisa, awake but not woke again. It's Patty the Flatty LOL, changed my name. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the super chats. And glad to see you made it. All right, I think we're caught up on the super chats. So cool. Have you guys taken Shilajit yet?
Yeah, you mentioned that one too. Yeah, we talked about that early in the stream. Shilajit, it's in my tonic. Highly recommend that also. Oh my gosh, I love how educated, or how knowledgeable, I should say, how knowledgeable your community is. They know a lot of stuff. There's a lot of really good people here, and
Yep.
I think if you guys are able to talk to each other more and learn from each other more, oh my, this is why I'm so optimistic in humanity, is because there are so many great people out there. So
Yeah, I agree. It is a pretty solid group of people. I think it's because it's not easy to really get here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So yeah, you get quality over quantity for sure. You get people that really like diligently seek out the truth. All right, cool. So we're like 2.5 hours. You got some more things you want to cover before we wrap it up?
Let's just wrap it up with maybe a poll. People have any input for what they would like to see at Summit? Are you more interested in hearing about how you can heal your trauma? What's available to you regarding that? Kind of the path that I think many truthers go through. Not everybody, but many do. Especially if they were heavily indoctrinated, as I was. What it's like to wake up in a world where everything you believe and thought you knew might not be true, or how it can help wake up other people by understanding that with indoctrination comes a lot of trauma, and that we're ultimately triggering people. When we trigger somebody, we're poking and bullying a 7-year-old. How can we develop techniques to consensually have these kinds of conversations? What might that look like? I'm not exactly sure what that presentation would look like yet, but I would like to be able to share some skills. I think maybe just from my conversation with you today, Austin, I think maybe us just demoing that or setting up a debate that has a moderator that's got the skills to help somebody when they're getting triggered to keep the conversations flowing at a good energy, not letting it get out of hand.
I think that sounds awesome, bro. I would be very interested to see what happens. Okay, so I have how to heal trauma, how to wake up others effectively. Oh, spam calling.
Sure.
Is that the two you want, or did I miss one?
No, those are the two I said, basically.
Okay. Yeah, just keeping them brief. I mean, you gave the context of them.
Yeah.
So I'm dropping one in the Miswitch chat. So that will keep running even after the stream. And then I am dropping one on YouTube right now. So cool. And I think the polls show on the replay as well. And so if you don't know that, you go to Miswits, t.me/Miswits. I'll drop the link in the chat. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. The summits are really cool, man. They're really cool because you get such a variety of things. We have like just a huge variety of things that are going to be covered this time. They're very cool. We have Dr. Kaufman and Amanda Vollmer and Kelly Brogan. We have a bunch of legends on there. We have Isabel Amiga, I believe, and she's really big on structured water. Just a bunch of like really cool people. And then, of course, we have you. It's just a wide variety of information covered. So I'm looking forward to this one big time.
Cool.
So thank you for doing it, man. We're honored to have you, brother.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on again. And I hope I brought some value to everyone who watched this.
Yeah, absolutely. You did, bro. So, all right, cool. And I put your YouTube in the description. So go show him some love. I have it right there on the second line. Subscribe to his new channel. And it's youtube.com/@StephenDragon82. So go show him some love. He said that they just did a podcast. They're going to start uploading podcasts. So yeah, go help him. I know how tough it is to get subs at first. So just go show him some love. So links in the description. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on the developments of everything else. So you got any final closing things you want to say?
I'm immediately reminded of Run Boston Bear right now. He's such a great guy. This community is so lucky to have him. And he just closed everything with this beautiful prayer. And I want to just take a moment for everybody to close how they want to close, but check in. Let's have a check in together, see how we're feeling, get some gratitude for what an amazing world this is, and the fact that we are all able to connect right now and discuss what we're discussing. Like, that feels so good. So I'm appreciative to all of you, and there's so much gratitude and love for all of you. Thank you.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, Run Boston Bear is like just awesome, man. I love him. It's my brother. Very, very, very positive vibrations always. It's very cool. I got to meet him in person at Flattoberfest. It was cool. Well, cool. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I think you have very insightful input, and I'm glad that we got to make this happen. And I'm looking forward to the community fest. I'm going to really put a lot of energy into it this time and really try to make it very interactive and cool. And so I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be very cool. Like I said, go show him some love, and then we'll also see you at the summit, and I'll give you guys more details about that soon. So, all right, brother, thank you so much for coming on. I guess I'll just kind of give them some, I'll wrap it up with some housekeeping stuff so they know what I got going on, and then I'll wrap it up. But cool.
I guess last thing. I'll reiterate. I am giving away a few free sessions. So to the Truther community. So if you mention Austin or Witsit in your app, I'll discount your session. So that's lifereset.pro. So hope to help some of you out.
Very cool. Very cool. Dude, we're like at 50-50. We got 53% how to heal trauma, 47% how to wake up others effectively.
All right. I'll flip a coin here. That's better. So
they're just going to split you 50-50, bro. We'll see what happens in the misses.
Okay. All right. Good night, fam.
All right, brother. Much love. Awesome, man. Very cool. Very cool stream. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Kind of give you some updates as to what I got going on. We'll have Glowbuster Sunday. I'm designing merch for the fast. I'm designing Miswits exclusive merch for those that support through Patreon, locals, and YouTube members. But also there will be general merch, but there will be some exclusive ones. So we're making some really dope Miswits merch. I think I was going to make some heliophobic merch also. But anyway, so working on that, designing all that, figuring out the best way to get you guys the merch, right? And then the merch for the fast. So stay tuned for that. And you can just go to ethericState.com, and I'm going to finish the website here soon. Oh, shout out to Justin Johnson for gifting 5 more memberships. What a legend. Thank you so much, brother. Welcome to the Misfits, whoever gets them. Get them while they're hot. So cool, man. Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I really think this is going to be epic. I think us being very interactive and all, I got everything smoothed out. Just so you know, like I can't ship out internationally. Just it didn't work. So unfortunately, as of now, and I'll let you guys know if there's some update to that, but it's just domestic, like United States shipping. So if you go order and you put something outside the United States, you're gonna have to wait a little bit for me to get the refund processed and back to you. And I told it not to accept anything outside the US, and it just does anyway. So anyway, there's a disclaimer on that. I'll put that on the website, and then we'll have the pop-up explaining the stuff about the fast. And then I think we may create a newsletter, and we'll have the calls, the check-in calls around mealtime and all that stuff. It's going to be very cool. So cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Links to support in the description, and also to go sub to his channel, which should be a cool podcast uploaded there soon. So I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, as you see, we're back streaming. Stay tuned for December 2nd. I'll be going to that church in Mount Juliet. And we don't know exactly how that's all going to work, but of course the preacher called out flat earth. And so it should be a pretty interesting and exciting event. So stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys updated as we get closer to it. And yeah, I'll give you more details about everything else. Co-authoring a book. I got a friend that's writing another book about health and stuff like that. And so we have a lot of stuff in the works. So just stay tuned. And that is it. Okay, so I won't go too long, but thank all you guys for being here. And like I said, I put a timer on there, so you kind of have some time. Figure out the blends, maybe try different ones. I will say from experience, if you're going to try to fast, which I strongly encourage everyone to do it, you definitely want to try those blends while you're fasting. It's a game changer. And I think people should consider even like slowly working their way up to at the least intermittent fasting consistently. It's gonna do wonders for your, I've heard people say like, oh, their vision improved, like, oh, their skin cleared up, like, oh, their hair started growing, like, arthritis and psoriasis and restless leg syndrome and all kinds of things. And I wrote a lot of them down. Blood sugar issues and just like the amount of stuff is incredible, and it'll really help everyone out. And I think we should really prioritize health and each other. When we learned that with Bob the hard way, right, that we really need to all come together and prioritize each other's health and kind of grow together. So cool. That's why I'm so passionately behind this. And I think it's going to be a very cool thing to start doing. So cool. We'll do it together. All right. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. But that's really kind of without value, right? So like, who really cares what other people think? Because what's true is rarely popular, and what's popular is rarely true. So I'll catch up with you guys soon. Peace out.
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force them as simple that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature that mean extorted it. They forging it. If news anchors informant to informing them there's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this: we port and ships important. Yes, of course it is, what extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks. We ignoring which informant this, informant this. It looked like we were storing tricks. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers actors say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?